Hello, beautiful people. How you guys doing? You see my face? I'm over here with the knowledge and relationships, y'all. Oh my goodness. Can y'all give a shout out to knowledge and relationships? It's your girl Sheree right here, Sheree B Chicago. And yeah, I'm here on Ladies Night. Like they told me, they was like, okay, she gonna come in here, right, and do her thing. And I was like, really? I won't come in here and do my thing? Okay, here I am. So check this out. Of course, I couldn't do this by myself, right? I have beautiful women here with me here on Ladies Night on Knowledge and Relationships. I would love all the ladies to go ahead and introduce themselves. We'll start from the left of me to the right and on down. All right, go ahead, Mrs.
What's the left of you?
Oh, shoot, this way. Mrs.
Kaya.
Mrs. M3, and then go to Kaya.
Good evening, everybody. I am Mrs. M3. Thank you for coming to Knowledge and Relationships on Ladies Night. The topic is hot and juicy. We got some big shoes to fill because the men this afternoon brought it. Okay, so stay tuned. Looking forward to everybody joining. Please hit that like button, smash it one time. If you're new, please subscribe. Welcome.
Hi, it's me, Jess Kaya, Real Talk Daily. I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. Thanks for having me.
Hello, my name is Kris. I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony, and also you can find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony as well. Thanks so much for tuning in again to Ladies Night. Happy to be here.
Queen.
Mrs. Queen.
Hello. Hi, guys. Yeah, welcome. I had to step away, so I'm sorry. I don't know what we're doing right now.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Queen 502K. I'm here on the Knowledge and Relationships platform. And yeah, welcome to Ladies Night.
You mute, Brittany.
Oh, my bad. Hey, everybody. I'm Brittany B. Welcome to Ladies Night. I was asked to join, and I'm excited. So,
Miss Petty.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies Night. I'm here. I will be trying to participate as much as I can, and I'm excited.
we need some music.
I think Sheree's trying to get it together. Come on, girl.
Listen. You know what, you guys? Because nobody can really hear me, I am trying to sign in a different way because I want to make sure that we do this show right. Okay.
Amen.
Okay. Because listen, this is like they said, this is a juicy topic, and we want to make sure. At least we want to make sure that the point is coming across and the questions are asked and all of that good stuff. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we here for you. We ready when you are.
Well, let's start. Let's. You know what? I know how you guys do it in the knowledge and relationships. First, that was exactly what I was looking for. First, I want to be able to. I want to be able to go ahead and bring in some of the people or highlight some of the people that are in the chat right now.
It's
So
staticky a little bit.
let me get over there and get that. Let's see. Who's in the chat? Of course, we have Mr. Best in the World. We have Jessica Hansen.
It's staticky, Sheree.
She gone.
She's making a different connection, she said.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we got Mr. Best in the World. That's my brother. Shout out to M3. Atlanta Thrasher. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Wait, I think I've seen we got, is that Idris and Jessica, 100 Watts, Talk Hell. So hi everybody. I just,
Oh, hi, Talk Hale. So glad you came by to support. I appreciate you. Okay, so I guess we're still waiting on Miss Sheree, and it looks like here she comes. Okay, and here she goes. She'll be back.
Atlanta Thrasher, you've been on a secret mission. What mission you been on?
Oh, I do. I could then while Sheree is getting ready, I missed earlier show. And okay, here she goes. I was about to say if I can get like what the men were talking
You have
about.
got to catch the replay, Miss Kaya. You have
Okay.
got to catch the replay. It was really good. I mean, they were under pressure and they brought diamonds. Okay, we bring gems. They brought diamonds.
Oh,
okay.
We're not diamonds. Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. Look like Miss Sheree is back with us.
And I'm glad to be back, you guys. I had to make sure. Is my sound better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But it sounds like I got a slight delay. Is that true?
Yes.
We can't tell yet. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So let me get back to highlighting the chat room. Of course, we want to say hello to Mr. Best in the World.
I said hi to everybody, Sheree.
There we go.
I stepped up.
You say who?
I said hi to everybody for you.
Oh,
I shot
okay.
everybody.
Well,
they shout out the chat already while you were away.
Yeah, we stepped up.
Cool. Well, let's get the show started then. All right. Let's get to these questions. These burning questions. I'm excited. All right. Okay, there we go. First question. What is your definition of accountability? Let's start with Brittany.
Okay. Taking responsibility for your actions. Owning up to what you've done or what you're doing, being aware, being self-aware. So I would sum it up like that.
All right. Let's go to Blooming Ebony.
Yeah, to add on to what Brittany said, it's knowing your role in any situation, knowing how you contributed, knowing what your responsibilities were. I don't think it always has to be negative. I think accountability has a very negative connotation. I think taking that away is just what role did you play in that particular situation? What did you touch? What did you have control over?
Okay. I like that. Miss Petty?
I'll agree with Brittany. Taking responsibility for your own actions. Your own actions.
Okay. Kaya?
I totally agree with all the ladies said. I think it's an excellent definition, and and then Miss Petty said added to take your own actions, but also within that accountability, bringing truth even to others as well at that time. basically calling it out as well. But I totally agree with all the ladies. I think that's a perfect definition.
Okay. Mrs. M3.
I would echo everything that they've said. I would add only making sure that in taking responsibility for yourself, you know your limitations. So that's,
I like that.
yeah.
And then Miss Queen.
I think it's just ownership of things you've done and how you've made other people feel when they bring it to your attention.
All right, cool. I had to echo all of the answers were dope. I'm going to read the actual definition because I agree with everybody, so I have nothing to add when it comes to that. The fact or condition of being accountable, responsibility, which are a lot of the things that we mentioned, responsibility and things of that sort. So I say yeah, that's good. Now let's get to the second question. Since we defined accountability, here's the next question. When we hear men say women lack accountability, what comes to mind? Let's start with Queen.
Where we hear men say women lack accountable workers, I think I don't know. I don't try to get into men's head because that's a scary place to get lost in. The men's head. I think it's just owning what we do in a relationship, owning our portion of what we bring or what we're not bringing. And I think a lot of times I want to say women can lack accountability and blame it on the other person, but I don't think it's a man or a woman thing. I think it's just a person, an individual thing. Like when you don't want to look in the mirror and take responsibility for your actions, it's always easy to project it onto someone else. So I don't think it's necessarily a woman thing. I think it's just a human thing.
Okay. Let's go to Ebony, Blooming Ebony.
When I hear it, what comes to mind for me is the first thing I think is what happened? What makes you think this? Because I do think a lot of men say this for a reason, and I don't think that at least in my experience, my personal experience, I don't think they mean it in a negative way. I do think that for myself, in particular, as a woman, I've had certain privileges in the sense that I haven't been forced to take accountability like a lot of men have. I think men undergo a lot of rejection, and so they kind of at some point have to do some introspection to understand why they're getting rejected by women, and try and figure, okay, maybe I'm not what women want, but I do feel like for women we don't have that sometimes, because a lot of times even if the men that we want don't want us, there can be thousands of men that do, that sometimes kind of validate us. So what comes to mind for me is like, okay, why do you think that, and trying to understand them.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Kaya?
So when you first brought up the question, when we hear men say women lack accountability, what comes to mind? So for me, instantly what came to mind is I think it should be on an individual basis. It's hard to group it all together like women lack accountability. I think that like we had expressed the definition is kind of a self-reflection. It's kind of holding yourself accountable or owning up to what you did or didn't do and acknowledging that. So to me, accountability starts off with self. So when men say this, I immediately question, who are they talking about? Who is coming into their presence and displaying this? Because truly we all just there's what, 2 4 6 8 2 4 6 8 women here. I can't count, 7, and all of us agree on what it is. So I would assume if we can define it, we can display it. So the first thing comes like, okay, what women are you talking about? Who are you bringing into your life to say this, to get this perception? Because clearly we're all in agreement here, and I know it's not totality, but that's really the first thing that comes to mind. I would have to turn it back on that man that feels that way, and have more questions for him.
Interesting. Okay. I like that take. And I like that. Miss Petty.
Uh-oh.
Miss Jess, week after week, you amaze me. I love you so much. Like I like how you brought that back. We all have agreed that this is that accountability means to held self accountable, held, be responsible. And so again, can't I really agree, it has to be individual for that individual. And again, who are you talking to? What woman, what young lady, how old is this person that you are surrounding yourself with? Because if a man is hanging out with someone that he does not feel that he can have a conversation with, he's wasting his time, friend or trying to get to meet, know someone. You want to make sure, when you're in a relationship, you want to make sure you're with someone who can take responsibility, someone who can take that who can say if they're right and when they're wrong. You want them to be able to do that.
Right.
That would be my take. But
Okay.
Thank you for that too.
You're welcome. I love you.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
make me smile every time I see you here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
What about you, Brittany?
Um, the first thing that comes to mind, I guess, would be that they're experiencing people who aren't self-aware or aren't owning up to certain things. I agree with Kaya, but I would say that it may be women that understand what accountability is and aren't doing it. So I might know the definition, but am I acting on it? Am I really being accountable for my actions, or am I putting it off on something else or using excuses? So that could be something people may be experiencing, that they don't want to be accountable. So that's my take.
Okay. I like it. Mrs. M3.
So two things come to mind um, when I see that question, or when I hear men say um, women lack accountability. And the main thing is, when I hear it, it has to do with dating. It's usually to do with dating and somebody broke up and women aren't taking accountability. The other one is when guys step in between women that are arguing or fighting, and they see something that we don't see, and they're like, y'all need to take accountability, this, that. So in regards to the dating, sometimes women, we know that we desire to end the relationship, it's over, but we don't always give a reason why. And when guys hear, oh, she said this and that and this and that, oh, she's not taking accountability, like that's not how it went, that kind of thing. So that's what, when I hear guys say it, that's what comes to mind for me.
Okay. And I like it. Let's get to some of these comments. I see a couple of comments in here. Are a couple that I want to highlight. Um, okay, because people mention the definition. Here we go. Here's one I wanted to mention right away. I saw that I liked from Jessica Hansen. This one right here. She said, sometimes women will say all men are dogs or ain't ish, and yet lack accountability for their parts in issues. I think that is something that's come to mind for some men, outside of the men who don't look at themselves first, because I agree with Kaya. You do have to look at yourself first. So I think also when a man is acknowledging another woman who may not look at self first, and they come from that kind of space. So
Sheree, can I say something real
sometimes a
quick?
spade is. What did you want to say?
Real quick, we miss I can't see the names right now, and I was curious to hear her as well. With the two braids in the front there. I
No,
don't see her name right now.
I spoke. I spoke, and it's Kris.
Oh, Bloom and
Kris.
Ebony.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, no worries, no worries.
Okay. I want to make sure I get to another comment in here. Let's see. Oh, this was just, Atlanta Thrasher just has to be funny sometimes. So we just go on. Real quick. Accountability. What, you guys murder someone? Like, relax.
Yep.
He's being
Yep.
silly. All right. Then we got Don Frank coming in here to show some love. So want to thank for the love. Thank you. We appreciate it over here at Knowledge and Relationships. All right, so let's get to this third question real quick. Let's go ahead and get to that. Help me out, M3, on these questions. My computer's kind of funny. All right, I got it. There we go. All right. Do you find it offensive when you hear men call out women for having lack of accountability? Do you feel offended? Let's start with Mrs. M3.
Sorry. I would say no. It depends. I think if who was that? It was Mr. Rico last week or earlier this week. He said a hit dog's gonna holler. If it's not something that is you, it's not really something that you'll be offended about. But if it's something that is you, like if it lands on you and you're like, yeah, you're gonna be offended about it, you're gonna defend yourself about it, you're gonna be like, that ain't, whatever. But when we have that space where we know, okay, I have to be responsible for my actions, if it lands on you, why be defensive or offended about it? Either fix it or own up to it and fix it, or own up to it and, yeah, that's me, it's not going to change. And people make their decisions based on that. That's taking accountability. Either you own up to it and change, or you own up to it and, like, that's me, I'm not going to change, and people make their decisions based on that.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Brittany?
I was gonna agree once she said, that's kind of like being in the space of taking accountability. But no, I don't have a reason to be offended if someone calls out someone else's lack of accountability, or a woman's. Like, if I see it too. So, yeah, I don't think it's offensive at all.
Okay. So let me so I see what's going on. Let me ask you guys this way, because we know here in this YouTube space, right? Everybody is trying to hold women to be accountable in a lot of some of these areas and places like that, right? And a lot of times when they start talking, the first thing they do is like, why women don't hold each other accountable and this, that, and the third. So when we have that moment where a man comes in and say, hey, holding you accountable, right? And I mean in the way of largely how some of the men in these spaces do it. Do you take offense to it or do you not? I can come back to M3 and then back to Bruce since I rephrased it and then go from there.
So can we put the question back up, or are you asking it a different way? So you find it offensive when you hear men call out women
with a little context, not differently, not necessarily.
So it's not
the same, but just with the right.
So
it's
a
not
person,
general in the sense of every.
I think I understand you saying, so if someone comes to me and says, you're not holding your sister accountable, like, what's your problem? You're not helping her, like that?
Right.
Is that what you mean, Trey?
I meant more like in this area of YouTube since cited.
Sisters fighting YouTube?
If you understand what I'm saying?
Holding them accountable. I don't come back to me because I'm not sure. I mean, I'm here. Knowledge and relationships. Safe space. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Sheree, can I take a stab at it?
I'm about to hold your Wi-Fi.
Go ahead,
Sheree.
I know, right?
Amen. But it's all good. Well,
Sheree be struggling.
Brittany.
That's what happening. Sheree be struggling. That's what's going on. I know. I think I understand what she's saying as far as like if we're on a panel and it's some men and they're talking about women need to hold other women accountable. It's almost like I understand what they're saying, but I feel like you can only do so much, just like they can only do so much. So you can say it, and if someone's willing to listen and change, then that's where the change come in. And like Miss M3 said earlier, if somebody says, hey, this is me and this is who I am, we'll be prepared for the outcome and the results that come with it. And then we got to keep going. And if you are a man that keeps surrounding themselves with women like that, like just Kaya said, then it's almost like, well, Kaya, I'm sorry, I don't call you that, but that's your name. But like Kaya said, it's almost like then you have to look at yourself and how you keep surrounding yourself with these type of women that are in the same mindset. So that's how I look at that. But I know where you were coming from as far as like, women need to hold women accountable. Okay. We're going to do just as much as you're doing.
Right.
That limited role. It's the limited role. You can't do but so much.
Yep.
They got to live their life. You got to live yours.
But men are the leaders. So, if you're moving a certain type of way and she's underneath you and she's not, following your plan, then you have to look at yourself.
Okay. Kaya?
Could you put the question back up? Okay. So when you first put it up, I thought one way, but then when you added a little bit more to the question, I think that there is a place for everything. I think if you're going to hold someone else accountable, you have to consider, for one, that person, for another, what situation you're in. And then we're going to this public forum. So if you're going to hold someone accountable in a public forum as YouTube, like you said, you need to make sure you're straight first. Like Brittany was saying, you got to make sure that it is displayed that you hold yourself accountable first. So if you don't even hold yourself accountable first, and we're on this public forum, you really think that I'm going to look at you and think what you're saying about me is valid? How am I going to think? I'll be like, wait, hold up. Where's the mirror? Let's find the mirror first. And then after that, maybe I can receive what you're trying to tell me at that time. But we already gave the definition of accountability. We all agree. first of all, is self type of thing, holding yourself accountable, displaying what you view as accountability. So either way, you got to consider the platform where you're doing it. You got to consider, are you displaying that for yourself? But with that said, it's different for me personally. If I'm not in a relationship with you, meaning marriage, I don't think that a man should be saying that to a woman. If there is no personal relationship there, it's like, okay, what we saying here, and maybe take a different avenue, maybe talk more general on your own platform about women or whatever you think about that. But if we're here and there's some men here and, oh, you women or Brittany, you're not holding women accountable. How do you know what it looks like for a woman to hold another woman accountable? I would question, so there's a lot in there. But the first thing is, make sure you didn't look in that mirror. Make sure you are displaying that so I can understand that and be able to receive what you're trying to tell me.
That's a good point, Kaya.
Yeah. I love that, Kaya. I love that. Let's go ahead and get to Queen.
I know this has been said to me before in these YouTube streets. And what I said is that the women in my life that are in my path, I hold them accountable. I don't believe in girl code. If you're doing dirty, I'm not going to co-sign your dirtiness. Don't tell me if you don't want me to expose it, because I'm not getting involved in that BS. Because I would want and expect the same thing from the people in my circle. So so what I said was, to the comment to me, was that I do hold women accountable, but it's also, like, I think Brittany and Jessica said it. What about the type of women you're choosing? Because if you choose the women, I didn't choose to lay with them, date them, be with them. You did. So if you're choosing that type of woman who is untrustworthy, backstabbing, conniving, double-faced, snake-like, that's on you. Stop going to the pond. Stop going to the swamps. Stop going to the zoo and pick another place to go to pick your chick. I'm just saying.
True. Okay. Let's get to Miss Petty. That was fire. But yeah, let's get to Miss Petty.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Good evening, Miss Candida, and thank you for coming back for the Women's Live. You there, Miss Petty?
Miss Petty, you said something, right?
Yeah,
I said, what was the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find it offensive when you hear men call out women for having lack of accountability, i.e., referring to the YouTube streets?
Well, who are they? That would be my first question. I'm not doing them. They're not doing me. So I could really. I don't really. I think that I would only take it offensive uh, uh, if it's just towards one certain group, as many men have done. They'll just call out, the black woman for being this and that, and so I really tend not to kind of listen to those men. But men, like someone said, if it's personal, if it's having a relationship with you, then that's more personal, because they're actually telling you how they feel as the person that you're dating or or you're with. That's all.
Okay. Miss Ebony, Blooming Ebony.
Oh, boom.
Not initially. I going off of what Mrs. M3 said, like if it doesn't apply to me, I've been on like a femininity journey for a while now, so accountability is a big part of that. But one thing that I do take slightly offensive or develop negative feelings for is when, let me back up. I've noticed that when men say that women need to hold other women accountable, they actually, sometimes I think that some of them want it to look a certain way. Like they want us to go in on these women publicly. So it creates this like argument, like this fire, you know, and like they want this because on YouTube in particular, it brings a lot of attention, right? And that I take some offense to, because then it makes me think, so you want me to act the way that you're hoping women do not act to bring fame to your channel or whatever it may be, even though you think that you like what I'm saying to this woman, and you like that I'm calling her out, you're trying to bring me down to her level for your own benefit. And that's where I have an issue. I like the idea of having these conversations so women know that these issues exist, so they can do their own inner work on their own and hold themselves accountable. But don't try to force me to come out of my feminine frame to try to make another woman more feminine or hold herself accountable. That's just unfair.
Amen, girl. I like that.
You know what?
Right?
Miss Ebony, you said a word right there.
Yes,
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a
I
good
think
point.
all of us who have been in this space can really contest to what you are saying. Seriously. Because the one thing I will say, I agree. So when I noticed that in this space, that's what they were doing, I was thinking to myself, like, wait, I hold my friends accountable and they hold me accountable all the time. What are we talking about? Right. So that's the first thing that came to my mind, because I do it on a regular. Like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, what are these women that they talking about? It's confusing for me. So then I'm like, okay, if me and my friends do it, so obviously men are not seeing, maybe they're not seeing it in certain women. So then I'm starting to think to myself, like, okay, well, how do they want me to hold a woman I don't know accountable? So then I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe they want me to call her out on her BS. So then maybe they want me to get aggressive. I don't want to be aggressive. So I remember having that train of thought in my mind. I remember thinking that. So for you to call it out was dope. And I think some of us in this area, I love it, because it's really odd. I think men they say they want us to be feminine, but yet they want us to be aggressive on certain things. And it's like, how do you even know what it looks like for a woman to be aggressive in the first place? Because our aggression is not the same as theirs. It's different. So yeah, I
that part.
I love that.
Absolutely. I never even thought of it that way, to be honest. You open up a whole new light in me. Thank you.
Trying to make us fight.
Say something to
right.
Right. I want to say this as well. I think this just to mention this, since we are talking about women and accountability, just to put it out there. Notice that there are a specific word that a lot of people are not mentioning in this space when we're talking about accountability. And I know when it came to, at least in my family and my circle, we have the matriarchs, and the matriarchs of the women in the family held other women accountable and led the other women and taught the other women. They were the head woman, and they were the head woman of a women. And if you look up matriarch means to be ruler over women and children. And that's what they did. So I'm thinking to myself, like, do these other women have a matriarch to go to ask them questions and seek some type of guidance? Those are the ones that held you accountable. So a lot of times I don't even hear women say that particular word, or if they know it exists, or if they have matriarchs. Because remember, matriarchs basically is Big Mama, right? That's who Big Mama was. Big Mama held you accountable while she took care of her husband. And that's what Big Mama did. But that's a matriarch. So I think I kind of want to toss that out there, because the thing about grandma is grandma took care of home and she took care of hers. She wasn't allowed outside. She ain't had time for it. She was taking care of her family. So I don't know what men are looking for. So I just want to brought that
She
out.
wasn't let outside.
No, she didn't. No, what?
Big Mama wasn't out there in them streets.
No, but Sheree said she wasn't let outside. I'm like, well,
She didn't leave. I'm sorry, that's my
Big
bad.
Mama out.
She didn't really-
Sometimes let her out the door.
She didn't really. Oh my God. My bad. I was saying she didn't lead outside. She wasn't out here just
I couldn't
trying
let that
to,
go.
you know.
It's me. I couldn't let that go. We got you, girl.
All right.
We got you.
Let's go ahead. I know it's all good. You holding me accountable.
Amen. See?
And you wasn't loud and aggressive.
I know. Well, I am loud, but that's
Beautiful
okay.
here, right? Yeah, but I think you know what kind of loud I was talking about, girl.
Amen.
Let's see. I'm trying to get to this next question. Here's the next one, number 4. So the 4th question is, see, that's why I said, M3, you got to help me with these questions. My computer is kind of bootleg. I'm not on the right one.
Help her with the questions.
Please do. All right. The phrase "women don't lie." Is it true? Why
Don't
or
listen.
why not?
Women don't read.
Oh, don't listen. I'm sorry.
Well, I can't talk about reading and pronunciation and stuff, so I'm gonna let that one slide, right? I agree with Sheree. Word. It was that before.
Wait a
Now
minute.
it's listen.
Look, women don't listen. They don't look either. I'm messing with you.
Brittany got me dying. Listen,
I'm getting in all this laughing.
Struggle screaming over here. Why are you messing with me?
You see?
Little sister.
We ain't know this, girl. Keep going. Ain't nobody noticed. Keep going. Don't say it. Nobody knows. It looks smooth. Ain't no girl. Keep going. Don't point it out. Nobody
improvise. We can roll with it.
Okay. No, the phrase "women don't listen." Is it true? Why or why not? Let's start with Brittany since she got so much to say.
Oh, really? Huh? What'd you say? Huh? Women don't listen. The phrase "women don't listen."
Yeah.
It may be true to the person that's saying it. If they think you're not paying them attention or listening to what they actually are saying. So it may be true to that person. Do we not listen? Some do, some don't. Look. So is it, yeah, I think it's just true to who's saying it. Or really, are you really getting your message across where the other person can understand what you're saying, or are you conveying to them what you really want them to hear? Is your communication skills to par? So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's
go ahead and get to what'd you say?
Oh, speaking of red lipstick.
Let's get to oh dang. I was about to go to her and she just dropped off. So I'll go to Mrs. M3.
I think we have selective hearing. I think I forget the speaker. We did a reaction video to Stephen Speaks. I don't know. Stephen somebody. And we talked about how, like, if a man says, all I want for my birthday is pizza, beer, and some sex, right? And we go and get him a wallet because his wallet is raggedy. But that's not what he wanted, and that's not what he asked for. But for us, we're thinking, I'm fulfilling a need. this is something I see and he's going to appreciate it. Yeah, he appreciates it, but he would have been so ecstatic, over the moon, if he had just listened and done what he asked. I think we miss that part sometimes, and we do more than we are. I wouldn't say required to, because that's just who we are. We're like nurturing and managerial, kind of motherly. But sometimes they just want us to hear what they said and provide that. They're very simple in that regard. And so I think that's the part, sometimes we lack. We overlook it because of the need. We see there's a need and we have to take care of that. And sometimes they just want the simple things.
Okay. All right, let's get to Miss Ebony.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went out for a minute. My turn?
The question, the phrase "women don't listen." Is it true? Why or why not?
I think it can be. I don't know for sure. I think most people don't know how to listen. So I listened to this like workshop on how to listen to men for women. And actually, the reason why we had the workshop isn't because we don't listen, it's because women actually talk more than men, literally. Like, we say more words than men in a day than we should, pretty much. Like, I think men say like, it's like 10,000 words a day, but we say like 70. It's some like crazy 70,000 words a day. It's like some crazy difference. But basically, when men talk, we kind of talk before they're done, but men take longer to process. And so when we speak before they're done getting their thought out, they don't really want to speak anymore. And so it comes off as if we're not listening. But the way that, women talk to women, we kind of talk over each other, and it's okay. But you can't do that with men because they don't talk as much. And when they speak, when they say something, they mean it. They pick their words very wisely. And so I think the issue is we don't know how to pause and make sure the man is getting his full thought out, because we just want to jump in and relate to him. And we're hoping that it's positive, like we're having a conversation with him because we love him, we enjoy him, but we're not listening to him the way that he needs to be listened to as a man. Because again, like, we're different. We're equally worthy, but we're different, and we have to acknowledge that. So I don't think that it's fully that we don't listen, is that we don't know how to listen to men sometimes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can take that one in. Okay. Queen.
I want to say we don't listen. Simple, point blank. Because even if you're talking to another female and you already are saying what you're saying, you're thinking about what you're going to say, that means you stopped listening long time ago. Active listening means that you do not form any opinion in your head. You're actively listening to what that person is saying. So if you have a response already, if you're cutting someone off, that means you're not listening to what they're saying because you didn't give them a chance. So in active listening, we did a training and we were told, take a few swallows, take a deep breath before you respond, because you don't know if that person's done yet. Then you say, are you finished? Then you repeat, what I heard you say was this, to let the person know, I'm giving you a synapse, a summary, a conclusion of everything you said, because I was actively listening. We don't listen. We think what we have to say is very important. We cut each other off. I'm speaking to the mirror. I'm speaking to who I'm speaking to myself, and I don't listen, because, like you said, if my husband tells me, "Hey, I want this," I'll say, "Oh, well, they had this and they also had. I didn't ask you for that." Now I get offended, but it's true. I didn't listen. He didn't ask for that. He just wanted A. I offered him A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I wanted to give him options. And then I get upset when he gets annoyed with the options because that's not what he wanted. He listens to this podcast. this saying, I don't know who said it, but they were saying that men want sex, sandwich, and silence. And I was offended, but I understand it. I understand the truth behind it. So yes, I do think we women we need to do a better job at listening. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Shout out to you for being accountable for yourself. That was cool. I like that. Kaya, the phrase "women don't listen" is it true?
Yeah.
Why or why not?
So my initial thought was no, we don't listen. And then, and I was going to elaborate on that until Ebony spoke. And then, so I still hold to women don't listen. But when Ebony gave the example of how, you could be in a room with some girls, your friends, like if we was in a room, we would be over talking each other and listen, but everybody knows the conversation, everybody's responding, and we're in harmony, we're good, and so when Ebony expressed that, so I think that is true. And then what Queen just said, I was going to kind of hit on that positive listening or active listening. And when going back to Ebony, when she said about the word ratio, the conversation ratio from men and women, true. So we can't do active listening with men. That's too much dialogue. So you said this. Okay, I'm reiterating. I'm telling you I understood. He already checked out. He said what he said. Now it's up to you to figure out, is that what he said or not? You can't have that active conversation with him. I tried it in my second marriage. It didn't work. He was like, huh? After I went back to him, like, that's what you were saying, right? He's like, what? And he didn't get it. So that active listening is more in a professional setting, more in a building relationship type setting. That don't work in a marriage, in my opinion. But going back once again to what Miss Ebony was saying about the ratio of the words we use. So yes, I still think that we don't listen, but we do. It's how we listen. It is how we interpret what you're saying. So going back to your example about his birthday and sex sandwich silence or whatever he wanted, and you get him a wallet, I can understand that. However, if you're giving him that sex sandwich and silence all the time, there's no need for him to request it for his birthday because you're already in that realm. That's your relationship. So since that's already the foundation, he might ask for that wallet then. He shouldn't have to ask for that on his birthday for the sandwich and the sex. He should be so sex down, like, that's kind of like, girl, I'm good. I don't want it on my birthday. That's how it really should be. He should be tired and be like, give me a wallet and let's watch a movie. Can we just watch a movie? I'm just saying, don't give him a reason, for that to even be an issue. And yeah, you might get tired, but it'll be worth it. In the end. So that's kind of my take on that. And I truly believe Ebony gave some she brought that out of me because I was gonna go a whole different way with it, but I appreciate that perspective, and that is true. So that's what just keep them satisfied, keep them feel, keep be quiet, hold your tongue, and it'll be all, and it's easier. It's easier. Go with your girlfriends, your married girlfriends, and don't talk about your marriage though. I'm just saying. Okay, anyway. Okay, that's it. That's it. Tell them about, how good
Okay.
you.
All right. I like how you brought it all together. I like that.
Yeah.
That was cool, tying in everything. I want to highlight a comment, and I saw it come out M3. brought up a comment that I thought was pretty cool. Maybe he can help bring it up for me.
We see it.
Rashawn. It was Rashawn's comment, not question.
Oh.
Ladies, sisters, and panel. Who do Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get to a question. Okay, that one. As a guy, I learned to listen to the not listening. If I ask for one thing and you bring options, want options. When I start bringing options, you notice and start bringing what I asked for. That's interesting. Thought that was interesting. that's kind of that was an interesting one for me. Okay. Let's get to this next question. That was interesting. Question number 5. Do you feel that we as women are truly respected by men? Like truly respected by men. Let's start with Queen first.
I think your respect is what you give off. So I do believe it all depends on you. I feel like you control that, how you come across, how you carry yourself. And yeah, I do believe that women are respected. I do think that to a certain extent. Yeah.
And to what extent?
To the extent of what I'm putting out there, I do believe that there are situations, I do believe it's 50-50. I want to say that. I believe women are respected. Then again, I believe that when women are around little boys who are grown adults, then they're not respected. As far as like when you say no to an advance and you got to be called out your name. So I want to say I see it 50-50. Because there's a lot of situations where, grown boys don't know how to take rejection. And so then they become disrespectful because they're rejected. So I want to say it's 50-50. So yeah, that's just me.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Miss M3? Mrs. M3.
Can we see the question again? I got lost in the comments. Sorry.
It's all good.
Do you feel that we as women are truly respected by men?
As women?
I believe that we are, and I believe that it is, like Queen said, it's a caliber of the person you're bringing. If you are a respectful person, you're going to reflect that. And the mate that you find is going to be a reflection of you. So I think that, respectable, like attracts like in that regard. You respect men, they're going to respect you.
Okay. What about you, Miss Ebony?
It's hard to say. I think, generally speaking, I think men respect women's roles. Like, I think they respect that we do certain things very well. But I think on like an individual basis, I do think respect is earned, and I think that looks different for each man and each woman. And so I don't think we can say that women are necessarily respected, because I do think that you, as a woman, like Queen was saying, like Mrs. M3 was saying, that you kind of get what you put off, and that's both vice versa for men versus women and women versus men. If you carry yourself in a way that is respectable, then you can get that respect back. But that level shifts for all men. So I would say, generally speaking, I do think our role as women is respected by men. I think they respect that we are we tend to be good mothers. You know, it's our job to give birth and nurture the child. But I think on an individual basis, the respect, it definitely varies based on what we give off individually as women.
Okay. Brittany?
I agree with Queen when she said it's how you carry yourself. Or I mean, I was thinking it's how you carry yourself. So, you guys lined up according to that thought process. So, how you treat yourself is how you'll be treated. That's how you're telling people how to treat you. And like Ebony said, respect is earned as well. So again, it's how you treat yourself and how you carry yourself. So, but in general, I think men do respect women. But if you give them something that's not respectable, then I don't know what else, they can do or should do.
Okay. Yeah. Kaya.
I'm so glad you came to me last, because I was sitting up when you first put the question up. Do you feel that we as women are truly respected by men? So I didn't know what to think at first until I heard from all the ladies. And I still kind of question it. That word respect, I think, like it's been said, the famous saying, I don't remember the guy's name, put spect on my name, and da da da. Birdman, Big
That
Bird.
was the
I don't know. What is his
Birdman.
Yeah. Okay, Birdman. Amen. That him.
Yeah.
So after listening to the ladies here, I kind of have an idea. So I would take it as it's a choice to give respect. Because yes, we can say, I'm presenting myself. I want to be respected, of course. Who doesn't? I don't think people walk around, don't respect me. Don't respect me. So I think it is a personal choice, no matter what, to respect others. Whether you're in a position that you deserve respect or not, like we say, don't go to their level. Respect them because you want to be respected, as people have said here, and I'm sure other people are saying. So, from that fact alone, your level of giving respect should not depend on that person. It should depend on a personal choice, a personal decision, what you're going to display. I'm going to respect you no matter what, because I want to be respected. And I think that should be the bottom line. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of y'all be acting a fool out there. But then I would choose to remove myself, and I wouldn't have to display a level of disrespect because I'm gone. So that's kind of, and I thank the ladies for helping me, because I'm like, oh, I don't know. But that is what I feel about that.
I agree.
Okay.
Respect is intrinsic,
I want to.
right? It's intrinsic from within us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You make a choice. It's your choice. Are you going to respect or not? You're not going to give respect because someone's acting a certain way. Oh, I'm going to respect you now because you're acting the way I want you to act. No, I'm going to respect you for one, because I want to be respected no matter how you act. But if you're acting a way I don't align with, deuces, I'm not going to sit up here and disrespect you. Then I look like the fool. I'm kind of trying to look like no fool. She's too cute to look like a fool.
I like that. Yeah, that's real. I think it is definitely one of those things where you look into yourself to make sure that you respect yourself first, and then outwards the everyone else is either going to respect you or they are not allowed to be in your space. I really do believe it's one or the other, because you can't force anybody to respect you, but what you can do is not allow them to disrespect you. So that's the one thing you can do. So I totally rock with that. A lot of these answers are fire. I love y'all ladies. So here we go to the next question. Really quick. Do women hold other women accountable with correcting them their interactions with men? Let's start with Brittany.
Do women? I've seen it here in the YouTube spaces, and me personally, I've done it a couple times, but not as much as I should. I mean, I've even had to learn. So I will say yes and no. So I guess it depends on the situation, and how you do it, how you go about doing it, how you say it. Like Bloom and Ebony said earlier, at some point, if you don't have the proper way to convey that conversation, to start that conversation off, are we going to be arguing with each other about how we supposed to be talking, amongst us women, or are we going to be able to go and say, hey, baby girl, you shouldn't talk to men like that, and how will that conversation end? Will it end in an argument, or will it end in and somebody not taking accountability for their actions? So I don't know. I off top, no. I'm gonna say no. I feel it. It's a no. I'm sorry. It's a no.
Okay. Well, am I correct in thinking he was trying to find a way, like your gut said it, and he was trying
no,
to
I can't. No. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and go to you, Miss Kaya.
Okay, so do women hold other women accountable with correcting them on their interaction with men? First, I need to know the relationship of this woman and this man. If it's just in general, and we're talking about up here on YouTube, that's difficult, because with that question, it truly depends on the situation, because I think everything, you have to consider the situation you're in and how it's coming across with your personal intentions of why you're addressing whatever it is at that time. And then with that question, it's so broad. It's like with that question, do I agree with her? So if I agree with her, there's no reason to hold her accountable. But it might be the deliverance or the way she's delivering it or something. It's such a question that, okay, I'm gonna put it this way. In general, I don't believe. Wait, put the question up one more time before I say this. Okay, for correcting them on their interaction with men. Okay, so in general, unless it is couples, for the most part, I don't think a woman on a public forum should be in a position where she's correcting a man, or in a position to where it could come across that she's not aligned with this man in general, or it's all about presentation, I think, especially when it comes to men, because we have established that there is roles. We have established that I'm gonna say it, our position versus their position. So it really depends on what's going on. Are we just having some fun social conversation that really is nonsense? It don't matter. Yeah, go at it. Go at each other, have fun. But are we talking about a serious situation where we're trying to get resolution, where we're trying to come up with some resolve? I think it should be man, woman kind of separate, coming up with what they bring, because when you display that, it looks different. If we're talking about relationship, there again, I think it should be different. We have established women talk, conversate different than men. So unless we're on a platform as men and women together, I think it should be lighthearted. I think it should be kind of in a fun, jovial way. I don't think it should elevate to a serious resolution concern, because men should be talking to other men about that, coming up with solutions and how they're going to lead and be prepared to be a leader. So you have us women preparing each other to follow, to encourage, support, in that position of, you guys have come together and we're all ready. We know our roles. So on a platform, if it's not jovial, I don't think that we as men and women should be coming up with solutions together or resolve together. And then if it's a couples or relationship with marriage and things like that, I think it should be couples on there interacting. And then if it's singles, then it could be singles on their interact, kind of like that, more of a social thing. I don't know. I hope I described what I was trying to say. That's it.
I think you would. I think what you were, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you were saying was that it all depends on the relationship with everyone. Meaning, if it's a marriage, then allow that to be how they interact with each other, and in other relations, if it's a friendship or something like that, then we're talking differently. Is that along the line somewhere? It depends on the relationship.
No. Okay, so to sum it up, if a platform is trying to come up with a solution, how do we move forward? How do we make something better? How do we, a lot of talk, build the community, unite? I think men should be on the platform with men having this conversation. I don't believe it should be men and women, because it's different. The position is different. The leadership is different. The support is different. So men and women, I think it should be separate. I don't think if we're talking about something like that, resolve, leading, moving forward. Okay. If it is a position of marriage, relationship like that, yes, it should be couples or singles. Yes. But in general, going back to your question, in that position, it should be a jovial. We should be here, maybe clowning each other, like we're sitting around playing spades, like we're sitting around playing some dominoes. And then we have established no one should get into their feelings, because we're just having fun. So, one woman, man, and you know what I'm saying? It's a social gathering. So you have to establish, what is the reason for our meet? What is the reason? What is our end goal? Why are we coming together? Oh, good thing. So 2 live streams ago.
You were
huh?
So I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're going with this, because
girl, I can't do no better.
Because the question is more so like correcting women on their interaction with men.
Bottom line, then
we
shouldn't be in that position. We shouldn't be in that position then.
We should. So you don't think we should do it at all?
I don't think, if we're in a position where I need to correct a woman for the way she's speaking to a man, we shouldn't be in that position. She shouldn't be there. I shouldn't be there. If she is in a position where she's saying something to a man that needs correcting, we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be in that position.
I'm confused, Kaya.
Okay.
Say that part one more time for me.
Put the question up again. Okay. Do women hold other women accountable in correcting? So, am I going to correct this woman, them on their interactions with men? Okay. So, I'm taking it as we're talking about these YouTube platforms. Because if we're just at home, no one sees it. It doesn't matter. So I'm assuming we're talking about on a public platform. So if we're on a public platform, what?
No, don't go to a public platform. Saying
In
in
general.
general.
In general.
In general, where? I mean, okay, I'm taking it to the public platform in general. If we're on a public platform, because that's where my life is, in general, I don't have any women that I hang around here. I don't have any friends. So my answer would be, I don't, because I don't have no friends. So I'm taking it to the public platform of YouTube, where it seems like most of our life is now. We spend more time here than sleep, than anything else. So I don't know where else I can take it but this YouTube platform, because that's where the majority of
personal form then.
Okay, did I have no answer because I don't have any friends?
Let me ask you,
right?
Let me ask you. No, let me ask you in a different form. Okay, because you do have a daughter, right?
Yes.
You do have a daughter, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if your daughter is interacting with a guy and you believe that she is potentially not speaking or interacting with him in an appropriate way, would you correct her?
Why am I? What is the position? Are they chilling at my house? Are they married, or is she I mean, I don't understand why my daughter, she's 14, or if she's 18 in college, she wouldn't be around me. It's I would say,
it's a guy she's dating. Let me narrow it down. It's a guy she's dating. They're coming home from college. She's in college. She brought her man back from college. They're chilling at your house because she's visiting back from college, and she's did or said something that was not appropriate in your eyes. Would you correct her?
I would take my daughter to the side, or I would wait for the appropriate time. I would not do it in front of the guy because that's not her husband. So it's like, I'm not going to correct her or do anything in front of him per se, because to me, he's just a friend. They can put the label on, that's my boyfriend or whatever, but they're learning. She's growing. I would trust that I have put in my daughter to where it wouldn't be a need of correcting, because she is a woman that I set an example for, that I would like for her to be. And no, I wouldn't necessarily correct her. I would probably just give my point of view if it was asked for, or it's just one of those things. It's like a case by case situation. Does it warrant correction? Do I agree with her? If I agree with her, then no, I'm not going to correct her. And maybe somebody else don't agree with it, but not necessarily. It just depends. So
okay. I know, Brittany, you had a question. You had something to say, or you had a question for Kaya, I'm assuming.
No, I think
you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I was trying to get her to clarify what she was saying, but she was just saying she was basically toning it into the YouTube streets. So I think I
thought that's what we were talking about. Yeah. I mean, everything else has been about. Well, okay, yeah.
That's why in the specific question, I specifically said YouTube for that specific question. So yeah, I'm gonna try to be as concise as possible, just for the future, Kaya.
Well, I was just saying, she said we shouldn't be in that position. So that was my question, as far as like what was the position she meant. As far
we
as
shouldn't be in a position to where, like I was saying, if we're trying to come up, so, and I'm talking about YouTube. Okay, So if we,
Mhm.
so if it is about how do we move forward as a community, how do we accomplish something to move Black people, us, however you want to state it, forward? We have established, I have heard it from men and women, that men should lead. So if that is the case, because I can't figure out another way where I would have to correct a woman for whatever she said to a man, unless we're in a juvenile place. But if that is the purpose, we shouldn't be in the same. It shouldn't be men and women together, because women think different, come to resolve different than men. Men should lead. We are here to support. So what they come up with, or what we come up with separately, okay, we established that we're going to follow. The men is going to lead. So since they're going to lead, they come up with a resolve or whatever the plan is. We come together. They share the plan. We, as women, trusting that they are men, they have united and came up with this plan. Then we come together, and then they share it with us. Okay, we're here to support, to help move that plan forward, to do what we need to do. But in the planning stages of this, I don't think men and women should be on the same platform coming up with how do we move forward.
Oh, okay. You're okay. So that's why I was confused, because I thought you meant, I was thinking now, after you did that, you're just talking about we shouldn't be in the same spaces having conversations, period. That's where you're coming from.
Period, about resolve to move a community forward.
Okay.
But not being, I think I'm saying the same thing over and over. But because I'm standing on what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I thought the question was about correcting them how they speak to men. And then you went to that they shouldn't be in the same spot. So, and that's where my confusion came in.
Yeah. Yeah. So the question is leaning towards interaction, as it could be speaking, it could be something she did. You know what I mean? It could be a physical thing. Let's say they're having a conversation and all of a sudden you see her hit him. You know what I mean? So I think
that's what I was saying.
In general.
So we're having a conversation. I see him hitting. Okay. So the question, so you guys want me to answer it like in a personal like setting. Like if I'm in a personal, we're in a house, or we're at a lounge, or we're not even on YouTube. We're personal, right?
Why can't anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can't
hear her. Well, God, I can't get it out. I can't get it out. I'm saying, why do we have to tone in where? I guess the question was just, if you see something, do we say something? I thought, is that not?
If I see something, I am a woman that will speak up. No, it depends. I'm not going to generally say that. I'm not. It depends. I'm a 53-year-old woman. I cannot have you give me one. I don't have a prototype where if I need to have particulars. I need to know what the situation is, because I'm not going to put myself in. Yeah, I don't respond the same to everything. It depends on if I know that woman. It depends on, do I agree with her or not? It depends on so many things. I am a very, I take everything into account, and so it just depends on what it is. So I'm not going to say I will call her out. I can't in general just say that. I
call her out or correct her, because I think calling her out,
do I know this woman? Do I know where she's coming from? Do I know all the situation of what she's saying? If I'm holding her accountable, what am I holding her accountable for? Do I know her? Do I not know her? How am I going to hold, I'm going to say, well, you shouldn't have said that, because everybody don't think like me, as long as she's not, okay, I'll put it this way. I will not stand for a woman disrespecting a Black man. I will not just sit around and let that happen. No.
Okay.
That I'll give you an absolute on that. I'll give you an absolute. If there is disrespect, any woman, I would, I would express that that is not right. So,
And
should the
real quick,
goalpost
I thought
maturity?
when I had asked Kaya the question
I
the
think I
second
got
time,
you.
Huh?
I just real quick because I'm a mute. But when I asked her the question the second time, I thought she was about to say something where if she was in a space and there was a woman disrespecting a man, if the man is a leader, it's up to him to correct it. Why would I step in to take the
No.
role from him? Yeah. So that
Oh
was
no, I don't think it's for a man to correct her. I think that he should just remove himself. And Tommy said a great example about how his father, when his mother and father would argue, his father would just end it and be like, "That's it." He would no longer interact, and that's the end of the conversation. So I don't think a man should. I think, yeah, at that point, I would not stand around and have a woman disrespecting a man and not say something. I will speak up every single time, no matter who she is. I would do it in a respectful way, of course, but I would, however, let her know that that's not cool and it should never happen.
Okay. All right, real quick, we have another guest in here, Miss Candid Ann. Hello, Miss Candid Ann.
Hello, everyone. Hello, can you guys? I'm always concerned. Are you guys able to hear me well?
Welcome. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can
Okay,
hear you.
great. Yeah. So I just wanted to chime in on the conversation. There are two things that I like
Mhm,
to, from the questions thus far, just talk about regarding like holding my friends accountable. And I can say that for me,
mhm,
particularly, yes, I do believe that it's important to hold our friends accountable. And I can tell you that if I'm close to that woman and I feel like she is receptive to what I'm going to say, because I'm not about to fight you, because I have nothing to gain by sitting up here trying to hold you accountable and teach you something if I think that I'm in for a fight. So if we're close, yeah,
mhm,
I'm glad I've done it in the past. This is nothing new to me. I specifically remember a friend of mine, we're very, very close, and she had an argument with her husband. And she was talking about, all the things that she was upset with and what she said to him. And part of what she said was, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. All he wants to do is F, and he doesn't even do that right. And I was like, you told him that, like, he doesn't even, like,
mhm,
do that right? Like, girl, sis, one thing you should not do is talk about a man's dick game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you care anything about that man, like, you're not gonna disrespect him like that. So I told him, like, I understand that I'm just using this as an example. I understand you're upset, but sis, like, you can't talk to your husband like that. So this is nothing new to me. This is years ago. And I definitely do believe in holding each other accountable. But like I said, it has to
mhm,
be with someone that I know is receptive to that, because I'm not going to fight you to help you out. I'm not Joe Clark. I'm
mhm,
not walking around here with a bat trying to beat something into your head. If you're open to it and we can have that great conversation, and I know that if you know me, you know that I'm coming from a good place and that you're receptive to it, I'm open to talking about it. But if you're not, then go ahead. Good luck with you in that conversation with your husband. Let's see how that's going to turn out for you. I'm not going to fight you, you know. And so that's how I feel about that. And the other thing
mhm,
that you guys mentioned a little bit earlier was about, have I always felt protected by men? And I can say no. I haven't always felt
respect it.
protected, respected or protected. Yes, I have not always felt protected or respected by men. That's not, these questions are generalizations. This is not something that's true, because I'm married and I'm very much protected and respected by my husband, my father, and men that love me in my life. But I can say out on the
Mhm,
street, there's been times where I remember I had to get into well, I didn't have to, but I did get into an exchange with somebody out on the street who was just being disrespectful for no reason. For instance, this was a situation right before the C-19, like right when it was happening. I was standing in line outside someplace, and to make a long story extremely short, I was in line and we weren't allowed to go into the store. So there was a little cubby hole like that was open so you can go to the counter and get what you needed. And so, you know, like when have you ever driven in New York where like as soon as the light turns green, someone is honking you? Have you ever had that situation? And it's so annoying because the light just turned green.
You don't have to be in New York.
Say
Chicago
again?
experiences it too. You don't have to be in New York. I
Exactly.
said
Okay,
Chicago experienced that
perfect.
as well. You don't have to be in New York.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
so there was one window that was open and people were going to that window and another window opened up and before I was at the front of the line and before I could even turn my head to make a step to go to that next line, there was a man, a black man in the back of the line that was like, come on, hurry up, like screaming at me for nothing. It's obvious that when you look at me, I'm a woman. It's obvious. I turned around and I said,
Mhm.
who the fuck are you talking to? Right out on the street. Now, I don't want you guys to think I'm some kind of delicate flower because I'm over here always talking peace and love, okay? Right? But I do not believe that he would have spoken to me that way if I was a man. He wouldn't have looked at me and said, come on, hurry up, and treated me like I was some kind of like child if he knew that there was a low chance of aggression that he was going to be met with. So, you know, that's not to say that every single man that I meet does not treat me with love and protection and respect. And when I receive it, I'm so grateful for it.
Mhm.
You know, so just want to put those little two things out there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you well, I know I think you kind of answered the last question with the first thing you said. Um, because you said something about it. Because our current question is, do women hold other women accountable with correcting them on their interaction with men? And I answered that with the first one. I would
Yeah.
assume that would be a yes.
Yeah, I do. But like I said,
Okay.
it's only if I feel
Um,
as if I can, because I'm not about to be arguing and fighting and creating any kind of stress in my life to help you out. You know, like if you're open to it, great. If you're not, all right, good luck,
right.
sis.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Queen. The question:
Wait,
do
can you put
women
the question
hold
back
other
up?
women accountable with? Yeah, I
Go
sure can, ma'am. I think I put it up there. There we go. Do women hold other women accountable with correcting them on their interactions with men?
I want to say not enough. Um, I know for me, um, I'm always being checked with if I say something disrespectful or something out of pocket to my husband. I'm being checked by women who've been married 20, 30 years and saying, who are you talking to like that? Like, you know, even when I first got married, I remember, I don't know how I ended up in this circle, but it was just like all married women who've been married like 15 plus years. And I was talking about something and they just kind of all just gravitated to me. And like, I literally felt like I was a swivel being spent around saying, girl, what's wrong with you? Girl, who you talking to like that? Girl, you better don't be talking to him like, what's wrong with, you know? So, I do believe in holding women accountable as far as how they talk to men. I think there's a way to communicate without being disrespectful, emasculating, or, putting them down. There's a way to communicate always. And I felt like my mother was the first one that told me that. I don't think I ever heard her. I mean, I heard them argue, but I've never heard my mom say anything disrespectful to my father, even though I know they had arguments. So I don't know whether it was I was just oblivious and playing or, enjoying my toys, but I don't ever remember that. But I do want to say that I was I think I shared the story before, but I was a college student. I got a chance to be a live-in nanny with a family that I knew, and the little girl I was taking care of was about 7. I would just help them with cleaning and stuff like that, and they gave me room and board. They, they put money in my pockets, whatever. And I remember the sitting at dinner, and the wife was just, she said something to her husband, and it just made my skin crawl. And me and the daughter, I just excused us. And I said, hey, I said to the little girl, I said, hey, you want to go play now? You done? She was like, yeah, let's go play. Because I didn't want her to hear that, to keep hearing that. And because the wife wasn't letting up, she was almost like we weren't sitting there. And so we got up, we left. And later on, uh, they would always check in with me to see how school was going or whatever else. So the wife came and she checked in with me. She said, hey, what's your schedule this week? What kind of, you know, they will always ask me about what my exams were so that I didn't feel overwhelmed. But anyway, so she came in the room and I was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And she's like, sure, what? And I was like, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how you're going to take it. I said, but what you said to him, your husband, really made me uncomfortable. And I don't think you should have said that in front of me and your daughter. I said, especially your daughter. And she was like, you're right. I'm so sorry. I put you in that. So I don't feel like there's ever a point where you can't correct somebody. Here was I, some snot-nosed college student, and I'm telling this grown woman that, look, like what you said to your husband was out of pocket. And she took it, So I think we do need to correct each other, even on the YouTube streets. I think Candid Ann it wasn't a man and a woman, but it was a man being disrespectful to another man. And when we were talking, remember, I don't know if you remember the conversation about speaking the truth and how to not hold your tongue or whatever else. And you corrected and stood up and said, hey, that's not what he's saying. 84 was saying this and blah, blah, blah. So I do think that you can still correct people when they're being disrespectful gender wise on these YouTube streets too. Like, hey, I think that was totally out of pocket. There's a way to communicate without putting a man down or calling him out his name or, disrespecting a woman. Why'd you have to say it like that? I think you can still do that too. So yeah, I don't need to have necessarily a relationship with someone, but I understand. So yeah, so that's my point.
Okay. Choose Ebony, blooming Ebony.
I think so. I don't think it looks the way that people think it does, where it's like I think Queen's very open and honest. I don't think it always looks like that. Sometimes it can, but I think typically it's for those that are receptive to it, and it's typically in like the shape of like finishing schools, wife schools, where women willingly sign up to be taught how to interact with men. But outside of that, I don't think is as often as we think, at least not for me, because I get very uncomfortable when I see women treating men a certain way and then the man doesn't say anything, because I'm like, dang, if he's not saying anything, I don't know what I could say to help her. Like I think she might be lost. I don't know. So I typically don't say anything, but there are resources where women who want to be held accountable, that want to be corrected, there are women that teach this, that have been teaching it for many, many years. So yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay. What about you, Mrs. M3?
I think that me personally, I am not going to step foot into somebody else's business unless it's something that's pertaining to me. There's a saying, like, someone getting involved in two other people's situation is like a like busy dog or something, like you're meddling in places that you don't belong. But first things first, evaluate, like, how does this pertain to me? If it's happening in my house, of course I'm going to say something. If I'm at their house, it's their business, you know? Um, and for sure, I mean, if it's, family, I want them to succeed. I want them to do the best. I don't want to see their relationship break up, but I'm not going to put myself in that situation, in the heat of their argument. I might talk to, my family members aside, and, if they come to me, hey, this is what's going on. I'm there, I'm listening. And that's the most important thing, because a lot of time people have their own solutions, but they do need people to listen and hear them out. And then, okay, well, this is how I would handle it, but I'm not married to the person that you're married to. I'm not with the person you're with. So I can only tell you how I would handle the situation. And maybe you can glean something from that. But in a lot of situations, we see people kind of like jumping in and trying to fix things for people. And I don't think that's the way it should be handled, because you're not going to be there when the doors are closed. It's their relationship. So.
Okay. I like that.
I just think
I saw a comment.
I'm sorry, Sheree. I just want to say I think it's sad when we have a mindset, oh, I'm not going to get involved, but if we see a man disrespecting a woman, we'd be the first ones to say something,
Oh, heck no.
A lot of I'm not done. But I think we get in our feelings when we hear men call women out their names and stuff like that, and we have a feeling, but we don't have that same protection or that same heart to I'm not saying jump into someone randomly on the streets. I'm talking about people I know. I'm talking about people I see, and I have somewhat of a relationship with. Now, I'm not going to be stupid to get involved with someone random down the street talking and I don't know nothing about them. I'm talking, these are people that I see or I know, or hey, even in the YouTube streets to say, hey, you know what? I felt like that comment was a little disrespectful. There's a way to communicate and not be disrespectful. Can we have a platform and make it general? Okay, can we have a platform where it's respectable? You know what I mean? And not attacking each other for each other's opinions. But I think it's when we see men beat up and calling women out their names, 9 times out of 10, most women have something to say about that. Oh, why he talking to her like that? Blah, blah, blah. But when we see a woman doing it, a lot of times the double standard is we kind of go, oh, I don't know. Da, da, da. And I think it's BS. Disrespect is disrespect no matter what gender it is. And if I'm in your house and I see you talking to your husband or a boyfriend disrespectfully, I may pull you aside and say, hey, maybe you might want to do that when we leave, or talk to you later about it. But I don't think it's necessarily a taboo thing to get involved, because I think that's the problem. Women don't hold women accountable. That's what we're talking about. That's the whole premise of this conversation.
Okay. Okay, so do you think that we don't do it enough then? Since you said what you said, like, do you think that because it was kind of leaning, you kind of spoke, because I seen a comment, right, where someone said, Harris Tribe Media Group, they said, do y'all think we could get back to it takes a village to raise a child collective? I think part of the reason may coincide with what you just said, because if holding each other accountable is a part of the village mentality. If we're a village and we're doing something as one, and you're in my presence or you're in my village, then it's my responsibility to help you. And it's just raising a child. If Maria is away at work and Miss Jones is across the street and see the kid, then she's going to discipline them and then tell the mother, and they get this mother. Do you think that women, because I do think in a sense necessarily hold the mentality it takes a village to raise a child in a community anymore. So do you think that because that incentive doesn't exist as much, that possibly women are not holding each other accountable as much because we lost some of those values as a community?
Yes. And I want to say this. I had shared this story before on another platform. There was a young Black male on the bus with me. I knew him from previous working with him at one of my jobs as a social worker. Um, he was on the back of the bus, and there was two Caucasian women that got on the bus. He was playing his music kind of loud, but it wasn't really obnoxiously loud. And they started cursing at him, calling him out his name, calling him the N word. You stupid this! Turn your effing music down. He's little. He's small in in height. He was a little skinny thing, and they were kind of tall, old, not older, but they were, I want to say they were at least in their 30s. And they were coming at him all kind of crazy. And so I was the only one on the back of the bus. So for me to ignore that, I felt like I didn't have his best interest at heart. Because if he would have put his hands on them, he probably would have got arrested and went to jail. But they were coming at him all kind of aggressive. So that's when I say, when we have an opportunity to step in sometimes, we need to do better. We really just do. So I stepped in and I said, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I said, you're not going to do nothing. You're not going to get up. You're not going to put your hands on him. And if you say it again, you're going to have to go through me first. So sit the fuck down, shut up, and leave him the hell alone. And after that, they left him alone. But I couldn't sit back and watch them jump on him for no damn reason. So as a woman, I held a woman accountable because I told them, I said, if he was 6'2", 250 pounds, you wouldn't be saying a damn thing to him. So when you think of that, think of the next person that you feel comfortable with mouthing off to for no damn reason. And the little boy said, I would have turned it down, but I don't need you cursing at me. And I said, you don't have to explain nothing. I said, actually turn it up. Turn it up. Let's get back in and party. And the whole time I was on the bus, I sat next to him. We were laughing, we were singing, and they didn't say a damn word to him. And I said, and I wish you would. Look over here. Give me a reason. I'm tired. I just got off work. I'm already pissed off. Give me a reason. But if I would have just let it go, they were actually getting up to get in his face. So it would have been a
girls
situation.
or little boys?
He was a little, I just said it, he was a teenager.
The
and
boy.
They were grown ass women getting in his face. But because of the way he looked, they thought that they could intimidate him and talk to him any kind of way. So as a woman, I checked another woman. That's what I'm talking about. We need this village mentality, especially now. I couldn't do anything growing up. If I walked from my house to the corner store, if my parents weren't home, best believe there was somebody watching me that told my parents every damn thing I did. We need a village mentality. We need it back. And because we don't hold each other accountable, oh, it's none of my business. It's never nobody's business until it hits your doorsteps. And when it hits your doorsteps, it might be too late. So we gotta have,
It looks different.
I'm talking. We gotta have a different mentality when it comes to holding each other accountable. Like I said before, be cautious. I didn't say jump into every situation. I said that. I said have discernment. But what I'm saying is that if we see a woman being disrespectful to a man, we should say something. Just like all these Karens, when they go up to these men and they get in these men's faces, they spit on these men, knowing that these men, if they put their hands on them, they're going to be locked up. Just like the woman at the game when she slapped him. And when he defended, no woman stepped up and got in that woman's face and pushed her back. If I was there, I would have got up, got in that woman's face and said, back the hell up. If you're going to hit him, you hit me. Because I'm not going to go to jail. He's going to go to jail for putting his hands on a woman. And then he got jumped. They tried to jump him as the husband stood there and didn't even hold his own wife back. So what I'm saying is that women, we have to do better.
We have to do better. That's all I'm saying. You can agree with it, you can pass it, whatever, but that's me. We have to do better.
Okay. I agree with you. This is just to play devil's advocate for only a second, because I totally agree with you. I think that speaking is definitely necessary, and I'm thinking about a moment not too long ago when I felt I should have said something where I was uncomfortable. It was in a place where I knew I was never going to see these people again, and it was a little awkward for me. But I do replay it to think how I could have done better. I think again, to play devil's advocate, and I think a lot of times, unfortunately, people do not tend to try to step in because they're afraid of being and being in harm's way, because the village doesn't even respect the village no more. Like, people do not fight fair. They do not communicate well. They communicate with ready to fight now. So some people do not want to say anything just because they are afraid. They want to make sure that they get home safely. So I tend to have this battle back and forth because I want to come home and be able to still take care of my village. And when I see something, I want to speak up, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, and sometimes it's difficult to assess the situation to see whether or not it's safe for you to even say something in the first place, and it's difficult to do it. I commend you for doing it. In some cases I say it, in some cases I don't, but I have to be honest. I'm 5'2", so my little 5'2", under 100 is not. I don't know if I'm about to go ahead and say something to a woman who may be 5'6", 180 pounds, and I'm gonna say something to her. I'm just gonna be honest, and especially if she's not alone. She got another. Even if she's the same size as me, it's one chick same size as me, and she bigger. I don't know. The odds may not be in my favor. So I think it's difficult sometimes for us to try to step in and be that community and represent that village like we want to, because we are afraid that we may not make it home the same way we left out. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I agree with you. I think that's one of the issues we're having.
But best believe when I did that on the bus, I was, I was tired of, I was like, okay, well, you know, I know I got hands. I ain't worried about that, but it's two of them. So despite whether they got hands or not, it's two of them. So I was like, when I saw how that they were even interacting with him, when I said what I said, they kind of got quiet. They didn't want it. Then I realized y'all punks. Y'all not, you don't want anything. You don't want the situation. You're just saying something to him because you're seeing how he's gonna respond. You see how how you got this little boy intimidated in a corner, like you running things. You ain't running things. Well, I'm his aunt today. So come to me. You got something to say to him, say it to me. But I'm not saying that I do this in every situation I see on the street. Now, if I have a friend and I'm at their house and she said something slick in front of us to her husband, I'm going to pull her aside. I don't care if it's her house. I'm going to pull her aside and say, you know what? You good? What was that about? Like, if you maybe you should have pulled him aside and said something. That's what I'm talking about when I said holding people accountable. Like, if most of the people that I'm around, if I see something, I'm going to say something, just like I would hope that they would do the same for me, because that means that I don't need you around me if you're not going to check me and critique me, even if I don't always accept it or like it. That's called, to me, a friend. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. I have to agree. Is there anyone that I didn't get to when it came to the question? I know we derailed a little bit. Not well, I think we stayed to the topic, but yeah. Anyone that I didn't get to? Y'all got to everybody? Okay, cool. All right. Next question. Number 7. Next question. What is, there you go, a pick-me? Let's start with Okay, I'm gonna start with Bloom and Ebony.
You would start with me. According to a lot of women, I'm a pick me. And I still don't really know what it is. Okay. So what I
Okay.
heard is a pick me is a woman that is desperate for a man's attention. Is that correct? Does anyone correct me if I'm wrong, please?
I'm
No.
asking you.
I don't know. I don't know. It gets thrown at me and I have no idea what it is. That's what I think it is. Personally, but I guess I can answer it this way. Do I think that there's anything wrong with it if a woman is called a pick me? I don't.
Well,
I
don't
think
move
that
too fast. Don't move too fast. Don't move too fast. Don't move too fast.
oh, that's the next question?
Don't move too fast. I just want you to answer the question.
Okay, so I guess a pick me is a woman that is supposedly comes off as desperate for a man's attention or to be chosen by a particular man or group of men, I guess.
Okay. Next I am going to ask Mrs. 3. What is a pick me?
I think it's a term that's used, kind of derogatory term, for women that are submissive, as much as I know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's go to Kaya. Kaya, what is a pick me?
I have no idea. I have no clue what a pick me is.
Okay. Okay. Queen, what is a pick me?
What's up, Colin? I love you too, Colin. I thought a pick me was someone that a guy chooses that is, I don't know, represents, I don't know, submissive woman, wifey material.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I almost got it mixed up with smash, hit it or miss, like pass me. You know that little game people play where they say they pass you or they accept you, saying that you'd be someone that they want to sleep with. I thought it was something like that, but anyway.
Okay. Let's go to Candid Ann. What is a pick me?
So, from my understanding, a pick me is a derogatory term that other women use when they believe the woman they're speaking to is being either too submissive, too I want to say too submissive, when they are being too feminine, when they are not being strong. And I believe it's just a derogatory term to put another woman down when you don't understand that she is comfortable in her submission, and it's used to try to make belittle that woman. So that's what I believe the terminology came from.
Okay.
Which,
I'm going to
by
read
the way,
from
I
the
want to say it's
Urban
ridiculous.
Dictionary. Okay. Okay.
I was gonna say so.
All right. So I want to hold on one second. Hold on one second. I see you in here. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna finish at least the real quick. The term pick me definition by pick me is a woman that is willing to do anything for male approval. She will embarrass or throw other women under the bus to achieve this goal. This unfortunate thing about a pick me is usually the men they are trying to seek approval from are of poor quality and treat women badly, leaving little real benefit for pick me. All right, that last part I didn't expect, but okay. Let's go ahead. Got two fellas here on the panel, and let's see what they. I don't know if they have a question or if they have a statement. Let's start with Eric. Is there something you want? First, let's say hello. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
Can you take
Hello.
this? She's trying to shoot somebody.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a real gun?
It is a real gun, yeah.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. So yeah, I was gonna say as far as for
it don't even got the clip.
give me 1 second, boo. I was gonna say as far as for when it comes to accountability, a lot of times I don't think you would speak up because it's somebody else's relationship, you know what I mean? Or somebody else's, however they handle things is going to be how they handle it. So it's not necessarily like how you would handle it. So it's not really your place to kind of speak up a lot of times. Like as far as for when I've seen, when I try and like say, for instance, if a guy is doing something that I don't agree with in their relationship, that's, you know, how they handle things. Like if he's raising his voice at a woman, it's like, I'm not going to, oh, hey, you know, don't yell at her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's the same thing. If a woman was like, oh, I'm going to speak up. Why would you speak up? You know what I mean? It has to be kind of when it gets to a point. And more than likely, it's not going to be, you know, right then. It's going to be like later on. You're going to say, oh, hey, what was up with, you know, y'all earlier? You know what I mean? It's going to be kind of glossed over versus, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to speak up on this right now. Do y'all agree, or do y'all understand what I'm saying?
I don't agree.
So it pains my heart to hear you talking that way.
So I'm assuming you have something to say about that. We'll go to you next, since you seem to have something to say about that. Let me see your name. There, Sir Hale speaking. What did you say when it comes to what Eric just said?
Well, first of all, salute to the beautiful ladies on the panel. Great to see you. To the best out here, just Kaya. What is going on with you? Candid Ann. I can't see all of y'all names, but all the beautiful faces. Good to see y'all. Simon Hectic, what's up, y'all? Salute to the chat. Okay, here we go. So it hurts my heart to hear what you said, because this is why I said earlier, when it comes to men, we hold them accountable. No questions asked. You're supposed to do this. When it comes to women, we seek understanding. And this is good in certain cases when there are women who want to know. But we're not talking about women who want to know better. We're talking about women who know that their behavior is wrong and are using that as a tactic to keep up this bad behavior. And that's the one. I know this personally. Now, listen, if any of my aunties are watching, sorry. So I know that this is true, that women don't hold other women accountable, because there have been some things that women have said about me, completely untrue, that based off of the fact that they seen something similar to it, they jumped in and agree with that, not holding anybody accountable, because they sought understanding and because it triggered something in them. And it seems like with a lot of our sisters, as soon as they are triggered by something, logic goes out of the window. And so what they say and whatever comes out of their mouth can be reckless, and it's justified based off of the trauma that they experienced. So when I hear Eso So saying women, they really can't speak up, why the hell not? I would expect a man, if a woman was getting hit or beat up or abused on a city bus, for a man to step in. Why can't good women step in when a man is being emotionally abused or taken advantage of in some way or not? Why not? So please help me to explain.
So what I'm saying is, it's like, it's not
Hey, listen, whoever was talking in the background, she's saying what I want to say. I'm just being diplomatic about it.
That's in Eric's background. We know where it's coming from. He went mute real quick.
And see, he can't get no check over in his own house. Come on.
Right.
You can't get no check in your own house.
Hey.
You getting on here being a simp. I'm coming to hold you accountable for being a simp tonight. That's what I came to do. I'm holding you accountable. So being in the back room, being a simp on this platform, when you know that you're getting on here just to get likes and let people like your dreads and your glasses. I'm coming to get on your ass tonight because you're being a simp.
Look,
I'm the simp police. I'm here. Call the police. I'm here.
Where they have that emotion in them, and it's not something you could just say, "Hey, shut up," or
"Hey." Man, listen, that woman just checked you on. You had to mute. You had to mute the household that you have no. You had to mute the household that you have no control in, and you call a panel talking about what you wouldn't check nobody else. You can't check your own house.
Thought it was ladies' night.
It is ladies' night, but I'm here to get holding the count. This conversation needs some leadership. If you don't like it, then you got to get quiet and forgive me later.
But this is a ladies' platform. It says ladies' night.
And they dropped the link. The people dropped the link and say anybody can come in, and I'm here. I'm the simp police.
Amen. You sound a little aggressive, but I'm listening, leader.
Yeah,
Amen.
I'm not
Go ahead
aggressive.
and lead, brother.
There goes another thing. The women always say men aggressive when they being passionate. Y'all confused about the questions. Don't nobody know how to answer them. Everybody talking about, oh my God, what is you saying? Got to explain it 3 or 4 times. This conversation needs leadership, and we here. Sir Hell, how you doing tonight, sir?
What's up, my brother? Good to see you, man.
All right, let's go. Ask me the damn questions. Hell, I answer them the first time you ask me. Ask me.
God, diggity John. Wow. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay, wait. I need to understand.
I have a question, Mr. Black Man.
That's what I'm saying. You can't tell somebody how passionate to be. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Somebody just told me how passionate to be. They said that I'm being aggressive. Aggression is not passion. Passion and aggression is 2 different things. This is passion because I have a passion because I want to see black men progress.
Fellas.
Yeah, okay, so remember that question you said, should a woman be correct?
Hold on a second, Kaya. 1 second, quiet. 1 second, Kaya, 1 second. All right, gentlemen, you did come in here on Ladies' Night. So I do want to reiterate, this is Ladies' Night. Now, I do understand men are leaders, of course, the leaders. But just like I said, we also have women leaders who call themselves the matriarch, if you heard me earlier. Now, when the matriarch, the leader of women, is having a say, that means the moment in lady forms, because I do believe, like Kaya said, there are spaces for women and there are spaces for men. So in this space, where there are women and women are speaking, and we are speaking about topics relating to women, I want you to respect our space, because if we interrupt yours.
Well, hold on. On my space, I have a space for all men on Fridays, and I let all the women come in and explain themselves. That's what I do on my platform. I'm just saying.
Wait a second. Black man, Mr. Black Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I roll. Yeah. I respect everyone and what's going on.
Okay. So I
respect everyone. So what I'm saying is, hold on. What I'm saying is, in our space, Ladies' Night, respect Ladies' Night. Now, we all said as men tend to get aggressive and we don't move the same way and speak the same way as men. You came in like a man, and hey, it's cool. I understand. It's all right. At this moment, I need you to respect Ladies' Night, Ladies' Moment, okay? All right? That's all I need. You came in hot and ready, which is cool. Go, that's fine. I respect the passion. I like the passion.
I came in to hold Esau hope.
Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on.
What's going on right now?
Best in the world is speaking. Hold on. Best in the world is speaking.
Okay? So
best in the world speaking. Hold on.
Okay.
Sheree, hold on. Sheree, can you hear me? Hold on. You know what I mean? It's okay. Let them go at it. Let them talk. It's all good. We want to have an open forum. We want to have an open conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let them go at it. It's all good. You know what I mean? Let them go at it. Me and them 3 give them the okay. Let them go at it.
Well, I'm going to check out right here because I thought we was having a different forum tonight. So I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I'm going to let you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you next time. Okay.
So we weren't being disrespectful. They just opened the lines up in the chat and said we can come in. So we just didn't barge in. M3 them said that we can come in the chat. So we weren't being disrespectful. We were just saying that, okay, we want to come in. He said, okay, it's okay to come in.
Yeah, and sorry about my background. She got a lot going on, a lot of passion going on back here. But what I was trying to pretty much say is like, when you say we seek understanding with women, is because if it's like a dude that's more than likely stronger, can overpower a woman, you know what I'm saying, hitting them upside the head, we're gonna be like, okay, maybe that's what he's into. Versus, you know what I mean? Like on the other side, a man hitting a woman, we like, wait, you can't do that. You get what I'm saying? Even if she into that, keep that in the bedroom. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think that applies to physical violence. I think for a woman who's smaller, like if you are that delicate flower that Candid Ann was talking about, you should call the police in both situations if you can't handle it yourself. But I don't think you should just ignore a woman hitting a man just because she's a woman. So I can understand before it gets to any type of physical abuse or violence to not step in, to kind of stay out of it because it's their marriage. But no, I think if she hits him, it's physical abuse or domestic violence either way. So if you don't feel comfortable getting involved, you should call the police in either situation.
But that's part of the problem, is that we think, let the man defend himself. And there's so many men that get abused that don't go report it because they're ashamed of it. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's not okay for anybody to put their hands on anybody. And if you see it, you should say something. At the end of the day, I don't necessarily need to get involved. I made plenty of phone calls to 911 from my car driving and saying, this is the corner they were at. This is what I saw them wearing. And this is what I saw. Simple. You know, it's not okay either way. And to make excuses for the behavior is toxicity in itself.
Ooh, Queen, you preaching tonight, Queen. You preaching tonight. I'm joining your church in the morning. You preaching tonight.
Black man, it seems like you have you came up here hot. Right?
I came in here not for the women. I'm gonna say that again. So I apologize to the women.
No, I didn't find it.
I came to hold Eso hopeful accountable because he likes to get on to show face and be very temptatious. And I had to come in here and hold that temptatious aura about him accountable. Because I'm leading by example, holding him accountable.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to the conversation? I'm just curious.
I do.
Go ahead. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay. So we were talking about holding women accountable, and some women say, oh, it's not my business. It's not my responsibility. You know, I think I should keep things to myself. I don't think I should be in other people's business. Listen, women should hold all women accountable, no matter the situation. If you're out and about, if you know the people, if you don't know the people, it is horrible, because I've seen several times a man get swole up on a woman, which is so wrong. You know, men have to get control of themselves too. They have to be held accountable as well. But I've seen so many men get swole up on a woman and get aggressive with a woman, and other women be like, no, sir, not today. You know, you're not gonna put your hands on her. I've seen women defend women when it was a man, but when like Sir Hale said, but when it's the other way around, it's none of my business. I don't know what he did. I don't know the situation. I don't know how she was feeling when she left the house this morning. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know what's going on with her. Maybe she had a bad day. Maybe her kids was getting on her nerves. Maybe she got fired from her job. Maybe she had a bad month. Maybe she didn't get her bonus check this month. It's always an excuse. But when it's the other way around, it's no excuse. It's check the man immediately. And if I'm in a situation, if I walk out and I see Sir Hale beating up his wife, me and Sir Hale got a problem. And vice versa. If Sir Hale see me beating up on my wife, Sir Hale got a right to come and check me with any means necessary. I don't have to know the woman. I can go to Walmart right now, and a man is beating up his girl in the parking lot. We got a problem. Because that's my responsibility as a man. Like women always say, we don't protect the women, but that's my responsibility as a man to walk up to this man and say, dude, you 250 pounds, 6'5", why are you hitting on a 100-pound woman? You hit her again, me and you gonna fight. We're gonna tear this parking lot up.
Black man, you know the funny thing about what you're saying is men, we get it. We have never had this conversation, but we know that's what's supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
It just seems like with our women that the same type of bond that we have, our women don't share. And so Queen Forever 2K is one out of a dozen, right? Because people would try to drown her out and make her seem like she's crazy when she's actually the counterpart to keep the balance between men and women, right? And I think that's why I wanted to come up to this panel, because women are lenient with women when it comes to abuse, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, when it comes to issues of child support, so on and so forth. Women are lenient and understanding. And when it's time to call a spade, then we seek to understand. And I have a problem with that because we see what is done to our societies, what is done to our families. So that's why I wanted to get up on here and say that. Like when men talk about women, I think women need to be there and have some input so that the conversation is balanced. And conversely, since you ladies are talking about men, I think it's important for there to be a few men so that we can speak to this as well.
Yeah, and Queen Forever, she really spoke on it tonight for real. Right?
Okay, so this is what I want to say to you. Like, although I don't disagree with you, and I think that is commendable, because in some situations, yeah, we can stand up. But I'm from the Bronx, New York. I'm not fitting to get shot to get into somebody's domestic violence situation just because I'm trying to prove a point. Like, I'm being realistic here. I'm being realistic. I'm from the Bronx, New York. You expect me to get into somebody's situation to prove that I'm accountable for somebody and get freaking shot? I mean, I'm being honest here. Tell me about this, Mr. Black. Tell me about this. Let's have a real conversation, because
let's have a conversation.
You guys are coming up on here.
If it happens, it happens. I'm strapped everywhere I go. If he pop, we pop.
Okay, but so I'm supposed to now kill somebody?
No, I'm not going to kill nobody.
I'm strapped also. I got a 4.5 and I got a 3.4 in here. So I'm supposed to get involved and get shot or shoot somebody.
Let me ask you a question. So if I'm in the Bronx and I pass by a dude beating a female down in the street, I'm supposed to walk by like I'm looking at the candy store and say nothing?
No, that is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about these extreme situations. We talk about accountability.
That happens every day. That's normal. Men are beating women's asses every day.
Listen, I understand that. I understand that. When we're talking about accountability, we were talking about the women talking to men in a certain way that we didn't like, and so holding her accountable for the way that she speaks to her husband. Right? So we were talking about, so accountability isn't just some crazy situation in which we see some kind of crazy violence happening.
Thank you, Miss Candida. Thank you.
But it's also about talking to each other and the way that, so I'm supposed to, if my girlfriend says, you know what, like, can I tell you something? Personally, this has affected me negatively sometimes. I got involved in some situation in which I was trying to hold my friend accountable, and the family felt like, you know, why, you're not even family. Why are you getting involved? This is family business. Why are you getting involved? So I had to learn, you know what, when it pertains to family, I got to stay the hell out of it. It's not my business, because they didn't appreciate me butting my nose into their family business, even though my intentions were solid. My intentions were good. So here you are telling me and judging me from what listen, we're having the conversation. So keep in mind, I'm just being spirited here. It's
absolutely. I don't think it's that way, honey.
I'm just bringing the conversation. I love it. But you're telling me that I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to hold men accountable. I'm supposed to hold my girl accountable. I'm supposed to walk around with a 4.5. Like, I'm not the goddamn police. I'm just Candida. I'm 135 pounds.
But this is extreme, though, right? This is extreme. Right. If we're talking about talking, let me tell you a couple of things that we can do. We can start talking to our sons. That see the issue with good women is good women live within their bubble, and they have no idea about what goes on outside of that, about how sons are talked to and bullied as children, as sons, and how those same young boys who are bullied by women end up dating the same type of women who bullied them because that's their normal. So if we're going to talk about that, we can't wait for it to get to the husband level. And if you can't hold it accountable in an altercation, we can stop that when the kid is a boy by talking to his mom about how to be responsible with her attitude, her demeanor, and with the power of her words toward her sons. That's accountability as well.
Right. And how many mamas do you know? Right. How many mamas do you know? And I'm telling you from a hood perspective, let's just take it there. How many I've seen mothers. I had to check my own sister because of this, because my sister's out of line. And so my sister, get your bitch ass in here and sit down somewhere with your dumb ass, you stupid ass little boy. I'm sick of talking to you. And I checked her. Because what's going to happen is he's going to get up and marry you. And then that's the situation, because every man had a breaking point. That's why some of these men are snapping, because their mama did it to them their whole life. And then they go get somebody that's just like their mama. And then they say, you know what? I don't have to take this no more. Pow, 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 pow. Then he on the news and all the women. He's a monster. He was raised by a monster.
But now we're on the same talking points. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anyone on the panel tonight said that they wouldn't step in at all. We're saying there's limitations to when we would step in, and not everyone is confrontational. Not everyone's going to fight somebody. Stand up to, you have an accountability. For me, and you're saying your family, your sister, that's where it is for me. Like if it's my family, yeah, I'm going to talk to them. I'm not going to get in the middle of the argument in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like none of us on the panel said we wouldn't step in. We have our limitations, and that's okay.
And Black man, how tall are you? How tall are you?
6'1".
I'm 5'8.5".
No,
6'1".
Black man,
Not
you're
me.
6'1", and how big? How not to be like Kevin Sands, but how much do you weigh?
300.
Okay, dude. So you really telling me you a 6'1", 300-pound dude, right? Don't you think that you demand that your presence, without you even saying a word, Black
Exactly.
man, that your presence demands a certain amount of respect? Do you think that my 125-pound, 5'7" woman that I'm going to demand the same respect? Just my presence, without me opening my mouth.
But see what you're saying. But look what we're doing. But look what you just did. Look what you just did. You just use size. Not the fact that he's a man and a person. He's got to be bigger. He's got to weigh more than you in order to command that respect. He doesn't get that respect just based off being a human being. See, that's the problem we have with our women. Unless he terrorizes you or has some type of...
That's realistic. That's society.
Hold on.
And I'm saying that's what needs to be held accountable. That's the point we're saying.
So Queen, I'm not going to ask no woman no weight. Queen, how tall are you?
I am. Well, in my head, I'm 5'5", but I'm 5'2".
5'2", and we'll give a 6 foot tall man the business, and we'll tell a 6 foot woman or a big old 300-pound woman the business.
I've had to.
Yeah, she's done it.
I've had to.
So
when she gets knocked the F out, I'll see you at the hospital. I'll be here to put switches in your head when somebody knocks you the hell on out.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
Right, but listen, I don't want that to happen. I've dedicated my life to saving lives and to protecting people, so I don't want that to happen. But I've been at the bedside when people get involved in things that have nothing to do with them, and I'm the one at the bedside caring for you because you got yourself involved in something that you should not have.
Like the civil rights movement.
I'm candid air. I'm from Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. I understand what you're saying. I would never just walk up to a situation and get involved. Sometimes I just have to call the cops and say, "Hey, I saw altercation. A woman was being beat. This is the corner. This is what they look like." I'm not saying interject yourself into every situation you see.
Okay, that's
but there's something you can do. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
There's something you can do. And when I say holding women accountable, this is the problem I have. If you are in my house, if you are around me, that means that we have some type of damn connection. If you see something, please say something. If you don't, then that means that you should not be in my circle because you don't give a damn about me or my marriage. So when I say that I had women coming up to me, telling me they just walked up. I'm telling a story about something that happened as a young married. I was married 6 months. As a young married, I'm talking to elder women who've been married 10, 15, 20, 30 years.
Months.
These women some of them didn't even know my name, but they knew the person I was talking to. In a circle, they came. One said to me, she told me to this day, we're best friends. You are destroying your marriage. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He needs to get it together. Blah, 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 blah. She said, your mouth, you are destroying your marriage. You are putting him down. You are attacking him. You are projecting everything that back person did to you onto him. It's not him. Bite your tongue, shut up, and get some therapy and heal. Now, if she didn't care about me and she just said, oh, that's her marriage, I wouldn't still be married for 11 years. That's what I'm talking about.
Queen,
being
I agree
accountable. Saying, no, I know you do.
That scenario is perfectly said. It's after the fact. It's not in the middle of your argument.
If you
right?
want to talk. Go ahead. Because you're going to keep cutting me off.
I'm just saying you're proving the point that we're talking about, right? We should make a hashtag I'm talking shirt.
Yeah, but you just
Yeah.
you mentioned
the fact
you
that
also hold
the
on.
fact that it
You
was after the
mentioned that
fact
if it was
is
in
the
someone's
point.
marriage, you wouldn't say anything because it's not your marriage, and you would mind your business. That's what you said.
So the
That's
point
what
that
you
we were
said.
making is that it's after, right? We're not jumping into the middle of you and
I
your
would
husband arguing.
even
These
if I'm
women
in the
were after the
situation,
fact listening
if I'm
to
at your
your
house,
scenario.
if I'm at your house and I witness something, I'm not going to wait a week. I'm going to
But
pull you
I'm
aside and
just
say
dealing with the
something.
situation that you just said, which makes perfect sense. There's some people that are not going to be confrontational, and it's perfectly fine to hold someone accountable
Whatever.
after the fact. That is all I'm saying.
All right, cool. You're right.
Right.
You're right.
Because in
Whatever.
this situation, it's, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're
Yes,
going
so shoot them, let you shoot them.
Yeah.
You know, after they got the bullet wound, then we'll tell you were wrong.
Lovely lady.
And look, what do we
not stop, don't shoot,
right.
but we'll deal with it after the bullet has been shot. That's what we're saying when it comes to words. We're going to wait till after the fact.
Extremely, yes. I mean, the damage is done already, but you're being extreme about it. But yes, that's the point.
Hold on,
Is
words are extreme.
Words have hurt someone, and you're holding that person accountable because that was the question about their actions, but you're not doing it in the moment. You're not stepping into that relationship in the moment, but you're helping your sister.
And what I'm saying is
as a sister, a man is telling you that the recklessness of a woman's words, I equated it to something so that you can see it. And instead of hearing what I'm telling you, to say that we can prevent that by stepping in and saying, hey, sis, hold on, sis, stop. We wait till the damage is done, and then we want to hold correction after the damage has been done. The accountability is not always waiting till after it's done.
Exactly.
Sometimes accountability is stepping in, and when you can, to say, hey, sis,
hello.
Because words matter and they linger.
Yep. Yes. Come on.
Some people need to be taught in the moment and not after effect.
Yes.
Some people need a in the moment correction to get it.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm not saying jump. It's for me personally. I've been in some serious situation as a social worker. I've seen some crazy stuff.
Come on.
And I'm not going to interject myself or the kids that were in my care to make them unsafe. But best believe 911 was on the phone. I was calling. I was doing something, but I was getting to safety. But if I am in your house and I see you, or we're at an event and I see you disrespect your husband, your boyfriend, put him down, I'm going to check you in the moment.
Yes.
I don't care. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to check you. And that's the problem that I have. We walk around, we have these fake friends that, I don't want to say anything. No, then you don't need to be around me. Because sometimes I need to be checked in the moment. Even if I don't necessarily receive it well, I need to hear it. I need to, in the moment, chection.
And you know what, Queen?
Checkcation.
You know what, Queen?
Caption that. Love it.
Most women would rather speak at the funeral than to speak in.
Hello. And those are the women I don't want at my funeral.
Exactly.
Stay your ass home.
I didn't say nothing. Then he ended up killing that girl. Golly.
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing here, though. I think
Queen
is saying the same thing here. I feel like, listen,
let her speak, please.
I think we're saying the same thing here because she said that if she feels like she's in danger, she's going to get on the phone and call 911. Right? If you are truly a friend of hers and she feels like she can talk to you and check you in the moment, she's going to do such. Right? So I don't really feel like she's saying anything too much different than what most of us just said. Like, black man, you're saying that we gotta correct everyone all the time, but I gotta tell you that, like, it's not always possible, and I don't understand why you don't see that. I'm confused and I want some clarification.
Hold on, black man.
See that it's not always possible. Like, I'm not against holding women accountable, but there are times in which, for my own safety purposes, it might not be appropriate. The best that I can do is get on the phone, like Queen said, and call 911. That's all I could do at the moment. Why is that unacceptable to you?
Oh, I would like to welcome my guest, 100 watts. 100 watts, what's going on? How you doing, bro?
What it is, party people? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Well, I'm gonna watch him get you in a second. Simon Hectic, I know you haven't had a chance to talk, brother. What do you have to chime in as far as the conversation?
Thanks, Christ. Right, yeah. I haven't even had a chance to speak. The conversation went on so long. Do all women lack accountability in relationships? I mean, like, that's where I jumped on because it sort of went somewhere else. So, like, in terms of women holding accountability in relationships, you know, I initially sort of lost my chain of thought, but in my heart and with the relationships I've had, what I come back to is it depends. Like, it depends on sort of like the person you're with. And I think most people would like to be with a woman that does take accountability in a relationship. That's far and few between. And the thing is that's a problem in this day and age. There's like a tiny percentage of men that can turn around and say they've met a woman that can take accountability. And there's a huge percentage of women that will turn around and say there's a huge percentage of men that won't take accountability. And then you get all these derogative sort of arguments in between. Men ain't this, men ain't that. Women ain't this, women ain't that. This is this and this is that. Why aren't we sort of trying to sort of forge the premise and work out what's going on? I think it's just boring work. You know, a lot of people are just not really interested in boring work. They don't want to do the boring work. They don't want to sort of get involved in the conversation where it's like, okay, you know, you might fit me and I might fit you, but it's just not it's just not the thing right now. It's not the trend. You know, so as I said, when I initially came in, that's where I wanted to speak on in terms of the topic. And it just
what's your position though?
Right.
Oh God, you're gonna pull me up again. This guy was supposed to be up.
You got to have. We holding you accountable. What's your position? We can't just
on what?
You can't.
You said a lot.
Yeah,
I still don't know what you said though.
Yeah, you said a lot, but didn't say nothing, my brother.
Oh no! Tell me, please.
And it sounded good too. You got a really nice voice. I just don't know what you're talking about though.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I just based on my experience. So, like, you know, I find in like the spaces that I move in that like men speak in one way and women speak in another way, and there's always this sort of huge disposition, right? And it's about 60%, right? Like, women say this stuff about men, and men say this stuff about women, and it's completely boring, right? Unless you start saying bullshit, unless you start saying oh, men ain't shit or women ain't shit, right? So
what?
I don't know if you get me, but I'm just saying.
No.
Right, well, tell me, please.
No, I'm just trying to get the premises of what you're saying, brother. That's all, simply. Because when I came on, like they said, I came on hot. I didn't come on hot for that reason. I came on hot because I wanted to hold the young man Esau accountable, because Esau does a lot of talking but does not do a lot of walking, and so he doesn't reflect on what he doesn't have a reflection in him that says he does what he's talking about. So, and for that reason, and me knowing that, I had to hold him accountable. Period. Secondly. And I love him to death, but brothers need to hold each other accountable. And I'll hug him tomorrow at 12 o'clock and tell him I love him, but I had to hold you accountable. But when it comes to what you're saying,
just for a second, what are you talking about?
No. I was talking about the guy before you. Now I'm talking to the guy that's in you. So what I'm saying to you is, you came on right now and you just said a lot. and it sounds good. I wish I could trade voices with you. I think everything would go better for me if I had that talking voice. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you said a lot, but you didn't give a premise on what the conversation was about. I heard you say that men ain't shit, women ain't shit. Everybody's
I don't know if you listen to me.
No. You were referencing that something does not happen until you hear that men ain't shit, women ain't shit, and so on and so forth.
Not at all.
You didn't say
Well,
that?
Black Man, to be fair, he did say more than that. He did also mention the word boring. So just come on,
Oh,
get
yeah,
it all.
yeah.
Let's get all of it.
Yeah, I'm
What
sorry.
I said was what I hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
In these spaces is one view here and one view there, where you get sort of like women saying this and then men saying that, right? It wasn't saying men ain't shit and women ain't shit. No disrespect to you, I love you, right? What I was saying is that you know, look, I've been in a marriage, and when you're in a marriage, it doesn't work like that. You sort of you come together, right? But a lot of people who have not been in those spaces do not understand that sort of thing. So what happens is you have these dispositions where some people are trying to get into that situation, whether they're male or female. And they don't really get it, so they have this sort of ongoing conversation, which is like a circle of death, which you will probably call something like you know, reiteration of things. I don't know. But sorry.
Are you trying to say like? Are you trying to say just like you're trying to basically? I get what you're trying to say, bro. I get what you're trying to say. But let me move on to 100 watts real quick. I hope I'm not interrupting you, Simon Hectic. I'm sorry if I am. Okay, I'll move on to 100 watts. 100 watts, what's going on, bro? Talk to us.
Good evening, beautiful Black people. It's always a wonderful thing to see so many beautiful Black people in the same place together.
Watts, what's
amazing.
up? What's up, Watts?
Oh, man, it was a lot that was happening like the last few minutes. So I don't really know where to jump in there. So to answer question number 8, what can you learn from a pick-me? That a lot of people walk around with their representative. A lot of people walk around with a presentation to, if we're speaking about pick-me's, right? If we're speaking about pick-me's, they walk around with a representation to kind of present themselves as if I'm the perfect fit for you. It's not necessarily being who they are. They're just putting themselves in a position to look like I'm perfect for what you're looking for. So I think in that situation, what you can learn from a pick-me is you actually have to pay attention to what people are doing and saying to you.
I love you, Watts, but you're incorrect.
And how is that I'm incorrect, please, sir?
Do we know the definition of a pick-me? Do you really want to know what that is?
Tell me, since I'm wrong, please enlighten me, sir.
A pick-me is a woman that knows the purpose of her life and the journey of her life. She's very influential in her man's life. She follows his vision and his purpose. She's one of those women that get around other women and talk about those type of things. Because we talked about this on several platforms, and it's always the same definition, and people try to change the definition. This is crazy. It is women that know their purpose, and it's women, and this word was made up by women that don't know their purpose. Right? She a pick me. Why is she a pick me? Because every time her man say do something, she doing it. Every time her man want to do something, she doing it. She following up behind her man. Go watch these platforms. These women will define to you what a pick me is by their reaction to the women that are doing the work. Like right now, Candid Ann would be considered in circles as a pick me, because you know why? Candid Ann is she's a great wife. No.
I'm already chosen. I can't be a pick me when I've already been chosen.
No. Okay? No, it's not a derogatory thing. I'm saying that you're married, that you cater to your husband, that you love your man. These women out here will call you a pick me because you are that type of woman.
Right, but they would be incorrect, because what I'm telling you, my rebuttal would be, I can't be a pick me when I've already been chosen.
Right. And they want, she want people to like her. They want people. No, that's what women are. They look at you and they'll look at Miss M3. I didn't know you were Miss M3. I want to stop for a moment to address Miss M3. Good evening, Queen. But I wanted to say that's what that is. Women look and say, Sir Hale's wife, look at her. she's catering to him, girl. She act like he all that, like they don't have no problem. She loving all up on him, sitting on his lap. Girl, anybody got time for that? Girl, they probably got more damn hell than a little bit. Yes, they what you see on that. That's what women are doing. That's and they call you that girl. She ain't nothing. Talk hell ain't nothing but a pick me.
And all when they're talking, Tequila's like, I'm enjoying my life. Pick me.
Let's
and
allow.
that's why she got picked.
Let's allow 100 watts to rebuttal.
No, we good. I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. I do think the reality is when you use the word "pick me," it is a derogatory term. Whatever its meaning is, whatever it was created for, and what it's used for are two separate things, sir. So when that term is used, it's used as a derogatory term to bring down the fact that women are actually intentionally moving to try and be a wife. Right? It's used as a derogatory term to say that these women, I agree with you there. Yeah. I agree with you there. Absolutely. However, I do have the problem with pick me's is because that makes me feel like she's not being who she wants to be. I don't need her to be some perfect, be your fucking self.
But what most women are being themselves. They're being themselves.
Hey guys, hold on for real quick. Let's
move on to number 9 question. Let's move on to number 9 question.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Before we go to the number 9 question, right? I want to make sure. Did the ladies get a chance to, Mrs. M3, Kris the Bloom, and Ebony? Did you get a chance to answer number 8?
The ladies didn't answer number 8.
Okay, so right now going forward, the ladies they're gonna go first. After that, the guests they will speak, but I'm giving a 1-minute timer. So, Kris, I'm gonna let you go first. Queen, did you go? Did you, Queen?
She stepped away for a moment. She'll be right back.
But none of the ladies answered this question. So
okay. So the ladies they're gonna answer first. So go ahead, Kris. Then Mrs. M3, and then Candy, and then we'll get to Queen.
Okay, so I don't really know which definition to go off of, but from my understanding, from times where I've been called a pick me, what I think that women can learn from women's definitions of it, how they use it in derogatory ways, is it's okay to do things for your marriage, to contribute to your marriage. And what that looks like is different for different people. And for some reason, it's been seen as being like a doormat, or being submissive is seen as being a doormat, or again, like this young man was saying, not having your own personality. But I think what's great about pick-me's, if they're being real with themselves and being honest with themselves, is that they are putting in the energy to be what their husband needs. And it's completely okay to fill in a man's gaps and hold yourself to what he needs in that moment. If you do finishing schools, you learn that you don't always lead with 100% of yourself in all environments. 100% of yourself is not appropriate for all environments. And you can say what you want and say you're not being real, you're being fake. But if you go meet with the president, you're not going to talk to the president the same way you do your mom. Like, you're going to lead with different parts of yourself. And it can be the same in your marriage. It can be the same in just different parts of your life. So I would say, if you take anything from being a pick-me, it's that you're going to work very hard to be what is needed in that marriage to help it run well, while also maintaining a sense of self.
I agree. I think derogatory term that it is, a lot of the time, society just considers submissive women to be pick-me's. And if you are in a relationship with someone and you're telling them no about everything, and you're pushing back on every single thing, that relationship is not going to be healthy for very long. But I do believe that, in the sense that derogatory placed on submissive women, it's just a way to try to belittle and bring down, like Mr. Blackman was saying, a woman who just loves her husband and wants to do the best for him and her household, as she is the house manager. Ms. Candid Ann?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to kind of just basically agree with everyone. Like this derogatory term "pick me," I've never been called one, but if like so. I don't I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, to be honest with you. I've never been called a pick me, but I could imagine that, if I made a video talking about how much I love my husband and and being happy to smile when he comes home and making a sandwich for him, I could see someone calling me a pick me, but honestly, I really don't care. Like I think that I could be called a lot of things and these things don't matter to me. But just to answer the question, is there anything I can learn from a pick me? Um, I think you can learn how to, and I don't say this in a bad way. I think you can learn to submit. And I don't think that I'm not always sure that I understand the word submission because I think that sometimes to different people it means different things. But I don't see that as being a problem. I don't see being feminine, being a submissive woman. I don't see that as a problem. So like if so depending on your definition of pick me, I guess it could go from here to there. It could be a negative thing. But for me, I don't find it to be a negative thing. I think that we can learn from this person that's a pick me depending on how you look at it. I don't see it to be a negative thing completely.
Yeah. I think submission, if you think about that word, it's kind of another way to say cooperation, right? Cooperating with your mate, right? You're doing the things that they appreciate about, being in the relationship, why they chose us in the first place. And that's not a bad thing. I think submission is in it being compromised, it's not like you're a doormat. It's that you have a say, they have a say, your input is valid, their input is valid.
Right. The reason why I sometimes I struggle with the word submission is because depending on what platform you listen to, and I'm not this super religious person, so please forgive me when I tell you that, like, I know oftentimes people refer to the Bible. I'm not referring to the Bible. I'm just referring to this overall idea of women submitting, and I don't necessarily have an issue with it. If someone in general can like help me out in terms of what does that look like, how does that play out, what does that feel like, I might agree with you or I might disagree with you. But for me, I don't always know that I'm submissive. I think that sometimes there are situations in which I am submissive, and there are other times where maybe I might not be submissive. I'm not 100% sure I always understand what that necessarily means because I am agreeable. I am, but when it comes to certain matters, like I have my own bank account, my husband has his own bank account. No one's going to tell me what to do with the money that I work for. That's just how I feel. So other people might feel like, you know what, you're not being submissive because your husband, I saw a video recently in which one girl was saying that her check gets deposited into her boyfriend's account and he leads in terms of like how they're going to do the finances, and that might be okay for them. I do not have any argument because I don't think that just because this works for me means that that's how everyone has to be. But I can tell you that I'm not submitting to that. I work and I will decide what I do with my money and how much perfume I decide to purchase at the end of the day. I'm not going to submit to that. I do agree that I will agree to put, it don't have to be 50-50. I could put more, I could put less, whatever. I'm not like penny pinching here that everything's got to be 50-50. I agree to put a certain amount of money into our account so we can pay these bills. But when it comes to buying something that I want to buy, I'm not asking anybody any damn thing. I work, right? So that's where sometimes I get a little bit confused as to what submission looks like. And like I said, just to reiterate, I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to and what submission means to them, I'm not always sure that I agree with it. And that's okay. And that's okay.
Queen, do you want to answer question number 8?
Um, eh, well, I think the term pick me, it depends on who defined the term. Was it bitter single women that can't find a man that were mad that I got a man and they didn't? I mean, who came up with
the term and the definition.
Haters.
That's pretty much. So, you can always learn from a hater. Learn how to shine brighter. But I think just it's okay to be what your partner needs you to be. That's called a partnership. That's called a relationship. That's called a wife. Like you become something for them. They become something for you. It's two becoming one. So, there's a merge. There's friction. There's some destruction that needs to happen. There's some restructuring that needs to happen. There's new foundations that need to be established. And yeah, I don't see. I mean, I can learn from anybody, but I don't like the term because I don't even know where it came from or who defined what a pick me is. I'm nobody's pick me. I was a choice and he was a choice, and we decided to be together. So we were both each other's pick me, because I had a choice in the say and he had a choice in the say, whether I wanted to be with him, whether he wanted to be with me. So yeah. So that's what I think about number 8.
I think it's not open to the men of the panel.
We all quiet and carrying on. So listen, I agree with what Candidate Ann said to an extent. I do think that once you can't be a pick me after you're married. If you were pick me after marriage, we got a serious problem.
Exactly.
Right? That's just if we're going to reframe what pick me is, right? I think that wives have to be wives before they're wives. That's just what I believe. I don't think that girlfriends can transform into that. I think wives can be girlfriends, but I don't think girlfriends can ever become wives. Wives have to be wives first. So you can't be a pick me after that. I will say, Candidate made
I'm sorry. Before you go too far, I'm sorry. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I'm a little slow today. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Which point?
A girlfriend can't be a girl. She can't become a girlfriend. A wife has to be a wife before she's a wife. Can you
A
elaborate
girlfriend
on that
can't become a wife. Yeah. So as a married man going on 15 years, we don't pick people who a girlfriend is somebody you hang out with, you have a good time with, you can go out to movies with. A wife is somebody who's constructed her life in such a way where she becomes an asset to a man's life. She doesn't become a bill. She doesn't become a headache. She doesn't become a stressor. A wife is somebody, the way that she lives her life is because she knows she's going to contribute to somebody. But we're talking about this earlier about what pick me's are, and I can't think of the lady right here in the green. I can't see her name. Yeah, her. Yeah, you. Yeah.
Yes, Kris. Sorry.
Yeah, Kris made a really good point about what a pick me is, and what we don't realize is when we get married to somebody, men have to customize a woman for who he needs her to be. Customize. I didn't say make. She has to be who she is already. When I say customize, I mean that there are certain things that she comes with the default settings, if you will, like the default tendencies and values and belief systems and character. And then a man is able to customize that. Girlfriends don't possess that because they haven't spent a life working on those particular things, which is why I believe that good wives have to be raised with a certain set of principles in order to become a good wife. Girlfriends oftentimes don't do that. This is why you see a lot of men who marry their girlfriend and they complain that she's not being the wife he needs because she was never a wife. So that's what I mean when I say that. Wives have to be wives first before they are married.
You have to prepare for what you want.
Thank you for that. I understand that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
And to one other thing for Candidate's point, she said something about money that I think is a big piece. Now, for those of you on here, if you're working, I want you to hear me clearly. And ladies, you can disagree if you want, and guys, chime in as well. If your husband is the head of your household and there is a financial vision, the way that you will mess up your blessings, the way that you will mess up your peace is having the attitude that this is mine and that's yours over there and you can't tell me to do anything, particularly if you guys are working to overcome debt, you are trying to buy a house, you planning on having children, big things are happening. That is the worst way to create problems in your marriage. It's statistically beyond cheating. Financial issues are a thing. One of the issues that I have is that we expect men to have the mentality that we're going to provide and we're going to contribute. And then when it comes to other things that we want to keep to ourselves when we're supposed to be one, now suddenly this is my preference. The way you mess up your stuff is when you guys are not in alignment with your financial vision. So Candidate might be able to deal with it. But for the other sisters who may not be doing as well in life, I am encouraging you to find out the financial vision for your place, because even though you might be making money, what happens if you lose your job? What happens if you lose that? Yep. Then you can't suddenly now want to legislate what he does, because you signaled to him that when it was yours, it's your money. So I'm just saying to you, I'm appealing to you as a married man, and my wife had to do this. If Talkhead was on here, she would tell you this. She was independent. I'm independent. I'm an INDE, however you spell that, right? And going broke, couldn't manage stuff, had debt. It took, listen to me carefully, and I promise you I'm not lying. I said, babe, if we don't get this in order, you keep what you have, but don't come over here dipping in what I have. Don't ask me for nothing. It took 1 month for us to get that right. And within 4 months, I bought this woman a 4,000 square foot house. When you come into alignment financially, a man who has a vision, who is disciplined, will use the finances to make your life better.
I say amen to that. Thank you, Mr. M3.
I think our women forget that. So that's my thing. So Candidate, I love you. I get you, but I just want to tell the sisters who may be as well off that very thing.
I want to say this, and I love the fact that you push back on that, because I want to say that I'm often told, and I don't really like this. I'm often told that I'm different, and I don't really I don't receive that as a compliment, although I know it is supposed to be a compliment. But when it comes to money, I am the most responsible. When it comes to my husband and I am the most responsible for money in this household. So when I say that my husband wanted to let me take care of everything, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So when it comes to taking care of debt, I'm the one to make sure that we are debt free in this house. I don't owe a student loan, a car loan. The only loan that I own is a mortgage, and I'm working on. I pay more than twice my mortgage. My mortgage is $1,500. I paid $2,500 on top of the mortgage, just to make sure that I can get rid of that in the next 4 to 5 years. So when I say that, so like I said, I'm often told that most women are not like me. I don't have a Louis Vuitton. I don't have a pair of red bottoms. I don't own none of that stuff in here. And I'm a nurse, and I work 60 hours. Like Kevin Samuel says, get your ass to work. I work 60 MFing hours to make sure that things get done in here. And my husband, he's working right now. Which is why I can be on here chatting with you guys. So not everyone is like me, but I find that I just say that because I come from a space of, there are times where whether you're male or female, if you are the one that's more responsible for money, then you take control of it. I don't feel like just because I'm the one that's very, very, I have a spreadsheet. I promise you, I have an Excel spreadsheet that tells me exactly if I put 1 penny extra on my mortgage, the amortization changes for the entire 30 years, because I'm into it that deep. Like if I put 1 penny extra, all the numbers are calculated, and I know exactly how much next month I owe and for the next 15, 20 years. That's how far into it I am. So when I work hard, this works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. And if a woman is not responsible, I think she should submit to her husband. I think so. I'm not going to fight you there, Sir Hal. If you realize that this is a weakness for you as a woman and that your husband is more responsible, take his leadership. Take his leadership, because it is best for you and your family. I have no pushback for you there whatsoever. But my household is one in which we are dual income and no children. And so there's extra money that we have. And so I want a little bit of freedom, and my husband wants a little bit of freedom. I don't want to scrutinize. He likes comic books. I don't want to scrutinize how much money he spent in comic books. Have your freedom, black man. Enjoy your life. Do what you want. He is still an individual that came to me whole and that has interests and joys and hobbies and stuff like that. So I want him to have that freedom to enjoy comic books, to enjoy. He likes eating out. do what you want. As long as we both are responsible for these bills in this house, the insurances are paid and all that stuff is accounted for. He's not being irresponsible. I'm not being irresponsible. Then that's fine. That works for us, but I 100% agree with you. If you realize that you are a spender and that you are irresponsible, you have student loans, you have car loans, you're out shopping and stuff like that, submit to your husband, ladies. Submit to your husband if he is the one that is going to guide you and get you out of debt. For me, I'm the one that's going to get us out of debt. I am the one that has gotten out of of debt. There's no loans in this house. I don't. Like I said, I went to nursing school, and in 1 year, I paid off my student loans immediately. I worked overtime. Who cares? I'm the one to make sure that we get out of debt as soon as possible, always. And I'm the one to do as much overtime as possible to make sure that we can add extra. I pay my mortgage. Like I said, my mortgage is less than the amount of money I pay on the principal, because I'm that much into getting us as a family, as just two of us, out of debt. So yeah, I don't disagree with you. But I'm just a little bit different in the terms of me taking responsibility for finances in this house. Like my husband, and he knows that. He's like, you're so on it. You pay attention. So he gives that up to me, no problem, because he knows I'm very responsible.
This candidate, it's been said that I think we're saying the same thing. Normally I push back on this one. I'm gonna say we definitely agree on this. Is what you just said. You guys are aligned. And that's the whole point that we're talking about on this part. Yes. So I salute you. Credit to you. We need more like you. We agree.
We agree. We do agree. It just so happens that I'm making an assumption that in your relationship, you might be the one that is really into like taking care of the finances. And it just so happens that in my relationship, I'm the one that's like crunching these numbers and sitting down here with my checkbook and making sure that everything is aligned. But, my husband realizes that like I'm really good at it, and he trusts me with that. So I take control of that. But we are saying the same thing. And if women, if you realize that this is a weakness for you, submit to your husband. I have no issue there.
And husbands, if you realize that this is an issue for you, this is okay. Now listen, I'm gonna say this word, black man, and it pains me to say it, but I gotta say it. If your woman is better at that, then you gotta let her rock with that. You gotta let her take a lead on that part. If she's good with money, can get you out of debt, then that's when you rely on her strength and her skill.
Because she,
ladies and gentlemen, an exclusive. Me and candidate agree.
Yeah, because she can make you better. You just gotta do it together. That's all.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that oftentimes men talk about, we need leadership, and like I feel like oftentimes you got to realize, black man, not you, black man, but in general, right? That recognize your weaknesses also. You might not be the best person that's fit for this duty in the household. So just because you're the man doesn't mean that you have to lead in every single aspect. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not really trying to step on anybody's toes or anything like that. But like, just because men are the leaders doesn't mean that like in some aspects of your life, you can't say like, you know what, honey, damn, you're really good at this. Why don't you go ahead and take control of that? Doesn't mean that you're still not a leader. Like my husband's still the boss in this place.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, this is what we're talking about, what feminine women are. See, I often say this. It's not about who makes the money, because we often say the man is who paid the cost to be the boss, which has got some truth to it. But let me tell you the value that a woman brings. She might not be making all the money, but if that woman manages well, she budgets well, she knows how to make ends meet. That is just as valuable as what is bringing it to the house. Limiting what goes out is just as valuable as increasing what comes in. And that's what I'm saying. When you are aligned and you can put those two together, that's what makes a good marriage, a good relationship function. So again, we're saying the same thing. We're on the same, absolute. I'm going on mute. Me and you here. We here.
And you know what, Sir Harold? If I could add to what you just said, you and her both, I like to channel my grandmother a little bit. My grandmother always used to say, baby, it's not what you make, it's what you do with what you make. And so yes, you do have a point, Candid Ann. So I know we bump heads a lot, but we love each other. I love you. Oh my, I love you, Candid Ann.
Absolutely, nothing but love. Absolutely, and I love the fact that you can take the hard questions, and that it's not personal. We just come with the heat. We just come with. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. See, look at the love in this. Look at the love. I love it. Okay. Who's got a question? Anybody got a question? Anybody? From me? Is it my go? Who's?
Yeah, you can answer number 8 if you like.
Is there anything we can learn from? Yes. Learn to walk like she's walking. Learn to do what she's doing because she's doing the work. She's doing the work. And a lot of women out here sitting in the corner saying, well, I wouldn't be that way. I would never do that for a man. And those are the ones that are single and in their whole phase right now between 20 and 30. And then around 33, they decide, oh, I want to be with a man. And then they're 2 years away from not being able to have a safe pregnancy. And then around 40 years old, they still understand they don't have a man. Then they see a man at Walmart with a truck with puppies on the back of it. They buy one because they'll be alone. So you can't listen to those women. They need to buy dogs. They need to buy a puppy because they'll die alone because they don't want to conform. They don't want to submit. They hate and tear down. You know what? Auntie TJ said this the other day. Oh, just move me. I don't know if y'all know Auntie TJ. She just came in the other day on my platform and just blessed us. She said she used to be the woman that would see successful marriages. She used to be that woman. And she said, I would try to talk to the women and tear their marriages down. She said, that was my job. She said, I used to tear marriages down. I used to say, girl, he ain't nothing. Girl, he ain't that good. He ain't no way he can be that. She used to tear them down. And then she said she looked around and she's 51 and not married. Then she said, dang, I could have been doing this instead of putting my energy in destroying marriage. I should have been a participant in marriage. She says she got lucky and blessed because a man found her. And she's married now at 52 years old. She just got married at 52. What if she was married at 32? All those years wasted on destroying when you could have been building. And that's what she said in the comments to the ladies. She said, don't be in the comments. She put in the comments after she got off. She said, don't be like me, 51 and getting married. She said, do it now. Don't be those women that make up these pick me words to destroy something that's so beautiful. But thank you. I'm sorry, knowledge and relationships, but I'm sorry. I have that preacher thing on my left side over here. It can start coming out. I apologize.
That's where the saying "single women keep women single" comes from. It's not all single women, but yeah, that's where that comes from.
Right.
Mr. Watts, I don't know what the number was in front of it. Was it 100? 100
Yeah,
watts?
yeah.
Did you answer?
I did answer the question. But I will say, based on listening to everybody's answer, like especially black men, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It's just that term, like every time I hear pick me, it just makes my skin crawl. It just makes me feel away. Like that term just weird to me to describe a woman. I don't know. It's still a new one to me. I haven't heard it that often, so it's still a new term. I really don't know what to do with that. It just sounds disgusting.
Okay, equated to eligible bachelor.
Yep.
Equated
Yep.
to that.
Exactly. Sir Hill, this man is a preacher. I love you, brother. Love you, man.
I think we're ready for question number 9.
Uh-oh.
Mr. People behind the scenes.
Uh-oh.
If there is a question number 9. Mr. M3?
If you don't have one, I can give you one.
Sure. And I guess
He's coming.
Oh, okay.
Okay. See, that's why M3 acting all sweet today. He know Miss M3's on here. I got to talk to M3 behind the scenes. Yeah. Mr. M3.
Can I say, as a younger individual here on this panel right now, the finance part that you guys were talking about, I think is something that a lot of people my age and younger don't even think about, right? Because in my experience, I haven't had the need or the opportunity to even talk about mixing finances, or are we going to have the same bank account or separate bank accounts, or like stuff like that. Like I haven't even had the need or the ability to have that conversation with another woman. So I appreciate y'all for bringing that up, because that's something that I need to develop on.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
29.
Oh, I'm 34. We're not that far.
Yeah.
Do that now. Money is a big part of marriage. Like invest in it. I don't know if you read Dave Ramsey. Find something and be a steward at it early, because it's going to save you. Like the way you think about money is a principle. That's going to affect everything in your life. So I would say take it seriously now, so that when you come into a marriage, you guys have some level of stability there. Trust
I
me.
mean, to this point for me, all of it is you're the man. You need to make the money. It's your responsibility. You need to pay for everything. You're the man. Like that's all the conversations that I've had in my life to this point. So,
So
like I
that's
said, the fact that having this conversation now, I understand that I need to readjust the thinking a little bit.
And he's correct, guys. He's correct. Let me tell you why. A lot of men in the manosphere, and I'm going to say this, manosphere, y'all want to come for me? I'm ready. A lot of men in the manosphere do preach that sermon. They tell all the men, if your wife is paying any bills, you are trash. A woman should not have to pay anything whatsoever.
You were have to.
Yeah, right. Have to. Exactly. So, and a lot of men are saying, that's what they're preaching. You need to be financially. And then they said, if a man makes under, I'm telling you what the manosphere is saying. If you make under $34,000 a year, you do not need to pursue marriage at all. You need to be making at least $58,000 to $60,000 at least. And before you decide you want to have kids, you need to elevate to about $100,000 before you even pursue think about having kids with your wife. That's what
Now, I see they're shaking their head no, but I'm going to say here's why that's important. Is a man who got married at 19 and it was only earning $19,000. It's absolutely a fact. Kids are freaking expensive.
Exactly.
They are expensive. A car note, insurance, a medical issue is expensive. So you want to calculate that before you get married, because again, that's going to be another point of contention. So it sounds harsh because we're used to just getting married because of love. Right? And it ain't about that. You got to be financially stable for that. So I partially agree with that.
Yes, I agree too. What I don't agree with is how cut and dry it is, because there are other ways around it. So listen to Dave Ramsey. Let's say you don't make $100,000, but you paid off all of your debt before you had children. That's an exception. So like that rule generally applies, and I think it's a good goal to have, just to keep it simple for men. But when you start diving more into it and you look at different structures and you look at your industry, is it possible for you to make that much without, it might take more time for you to get to that level. If that is the case, are there other things that you should consider? Then at that point, you should consider, okay, how much credit card debt do you have? How much student loan debt do you have? Do you own cars? And start breaking it down that way. So it's like, okay, maybe I can't increase my income right now because we have a baby on the way, but I can decrease how much money is leaving my house that could stay in my pocket, could go to investments, could go to other things. How much
Good
free
point.
cash flow do I have? Yeah.
But it's also
That's the point, though, is the future we're looking at, retirement.
Exactly.
Like that's one thing that a lot of people don't think about is retirement. And so you have to, even Dave Ramsey will say something like, you got an income problem, right? So you got to project and think about how you want to live life in your retirement years. And a lot of us don't do that. So I encourage men, if you got to spend a couple years, I think Candy Dan said this, if you have to work overtime, do that with the future in mind, because your earning potential, that window, your youthfulness will not always be there. And so I think when we talk about men should earn a certain amount, we're not saying that just to say I earn $100,000 a year. We're saying that amount of money gives you the ability to take care of your stuff now and save for your future. So there's more to it than that. So I just wanted to add that part to what you just said.
Right. And if I can
But
as well.
I think it's also too about what you guys have going on. So if one person, so let's just say people they get married, they get pregnant right away, but the wife has a business that she can run from home. They don't have to pay childcare, or she can start a daycare in the home. They can write off their internet, their cable, their water, their food. So there are other things too that can supplement. I know, for instance, my family, my mom worked in the healthcare field, so we were all born in the same hospital she worked at. We all our doctors were there. My dad worked for the airline, so traveling was free because we flew on passes. So the only thing we had to really pay was hotel, which is, my mom always befriended people, so we had friends all over the world where we could, necessarily stay with them. So it's a way you can do it where it's balanced too, where it's not so much as, because I don't think that they were earning all that money, but they had 6 kids and we always traveled. We all, like
tough times hit when people lost jobs, but even in those lost jobs, my dad could build, so he would always go build stuff or do carpentry on the side. So it was, there's also other ways to compensate for not necessarily having those high earning salaries because, a lot
Excellent
of
point.
times
Absolutely agree.
yeah. So I think even for me, like I love working overtime. That's the only way I'll work extra days is those days when I'm getting paid time and a half and double time. Because if I'm going to work extra, I want it to be worth it.
Right.
So,
And,
yeah.
and if I can add to that, I sat down with this lady before. My wife and I sat down. Her name is Miss Kemp. And Miss Kemp she sat us down and she told us about financial freedom. And she said her and her husband, they started a little late. She said she got really sick and her husband was working, but she was really sick. He had to take time off and she was just bedridden for months and months. So she said they maxed out credit cards. They were just in debt over their heads. And she sat down with her husband and they had 4 boys. And she said, what we're going to do is this. We're going to work off one income, yours. We're going to pay all the bills with your income. With my income, we're not going to touch it. It's going to go into an account. It's not going to be touched. We're not even going to look at it. We're just going to let it sit. And she said she did that. She said even when it came to kids, she said they didn't qualify for food stamps or any type of assistance. So she had to buy groceries. And she said they would eat the same thing every day. She said they made the sacrifice. She said it would either be spaghetti or rice. You need to figure it out. But every day they would eat the same thing. They didn't have cable. They didn't buy movies. They didn't go out for dinner. They didn't eat fast food. They didn't when the kids had field trips, they sacrificed everything. And now they're millionaires. They are millionaires, guys. And she teaches this story. I mean, she teaches this to the people at the church because they have an organization church about financial freedom. And she teaches these things on how the steps they took and how hard it was when their friends were going out on date nights and they would sit at home and do nothing. How the kids want to do certain things with their friends and they didn't pay for it. They didn't do it. She said they sacrificed for years. She said her sons were probably 8. She said they stopped, the savings went all the way up to the kids. The boys graduated, went to college. And now that when they were on their own, they still were doing the same thing. And she said, we made love this couch that, we talked to each other. We played board games, but anything extra, we didn't do it.
Can I say one thing? I got 2 things. I want to ask the ladies a question, but I want to. I see Arshawn Dave's comment about poor people have always existed. I just want to address that. The reason why this is so important in our community, we've traditionally we marry for love, and when you raise children in poverty, and they don't have outlets, access to good healthcare, education, opportunities, so on and so forth, the chances of them being influenced by drugs and crime goes up. So I'm not saying that if a person doesn't earn a certain amount of money that they shouldn't get married. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we got to be considerate that when you bring kids into the mix, it changes the dynamics of what's important because you got to look out for the welfare of the kids. So I just wanted to address Arshawn. To the ladies though, the ladies out who making this money, I got a question for y'all. And I want to ask this because it's traditionally thought that if women have to pay bills or, if they got to make the money, that somehow maybe they lose respect for a man. And it's only until recently where I've talked to some married women that I've heard that that's not the case. So I want to ask y'all a question. When you have to contribute or let's say something happens and you have to work now. You have to work. It's not an option. You have to work. Do you lose respect for your husband's authority and leadership in the home?
No. I think when you consider the fact everything that has been talked about so far is good leadership. When your husband leads well, you can respect him. Doesn't matter what he earns. So.
Wow. Okay. Can't listen. Candy Dan clapped quietly, and I still heard that was so good. Appreciate you, Miss M3.
No, I do not lose respect for my husband. I make more because I have more education, but
I've always spearheaded him to go after his dreams, to do what he needed to do. And I never, I want to say early on, I did because I was young and immature and naive. But then I had the village around me and seeing what I was doing to him, listening to those single friends and being influenced by toxicity. But now that we are married 11 years, no, actually don't want my husband working for anybody. I want him to work for himself because I think he's great at what he does. And I don't think he sees that sometimes, but I want to provide an avenue for him to do his own thing.
That is one of the best things I've ever heard.
And I'm telling you,
salute to you.
I'm over here in tears. I'm almost in tears over here. Hey,
man, I got my box of Kleenex right here, bro.
Oh, you got it.
I'm feeling it. I feel a little misty right now. So it's a little misty.
Queen. You got the right name. You queen forever. 2027. I love you.
I think men need to hear stuff like this because I thought that my identity was wrapped in what I earned. And let me tell you how depressing that can be. Like when you're not, a lot of ladies don't understand. A lot of men are walking around disappointed in themselves because they are not where they want to be financially. And we think that women like you see us that way. And this is why we get snappy when it comes to money. We're not snapping at you because we're mad at the money. We're snapping because of the money. And we think that because our money ain't right, you see us as not right or as leaders. And we battle that. We don't know how to talk it out. So hearing women like you say that, no, baby, I can respect your leadership. I'm with you. This is what I think helps a whole lot of men. So thank you all for that. And Queen. Listen, I'm rocking with you. Tell me where your church, your organization, your not-for-profit is. Whatever you're doing, I'm rocking what you're doing. I'm rocking with you.
Just show up to Knowledge and Relationship platform. We good here.
Yeah, hey Queen, you're doing an amazing job, man. I commend you.
I'm trying.
You need to listen, guys.
I'm
I always like to do this when I hear stuff like that. Hold on a second. I like to hear stuff like I like to do this. Everybody need this, ladies. Look, you see this? Get this out right now. Right now, they have them at Walmart. They are $1. The pins are probably $4 for $1. You can go get those. But when Queen's talking, you need to be writing. Okay, that's just a shameless plug for Queen.
Yeah, I want to agree with Queen also. There are times I've been married for a little while now, and there are times where my husband has made more, and there are times where right now, because of this pandemic, I'm caking as a nurse, like caking right now. Okay.
Caking.
I like it.
Yeah. So, but that has absolutely, like, my husband's value to me has absolutely nothing at all to do with his provision. So just to tell you, like, there are times where what's going on, and I remember coming to my husband saying, I had this situation at work and I don't understand what's going on. And he explained to me, he said, do you understand chess? And I'm like, no, I don't really know chess. He goes, listen, on a chessboard, there are different pieces, and every piece on that chessboard moves a certain way. And so what you're doing at your job is you're expecting everyone to act like a queen, but you have to respect that some people are rooks. Some people, you can't expect the queen to be respected the same way as a rook. You can't expect a king to be respected in the same, or to move in the same way as a rook. That has nothing to do with finances. Whether I make more or little has nothing to do with the information that he provided me in order to move myself accordingly. So I want to tell women that, like, provision has absolutely nothing to do with your man being able to still lead you, right? Just because of the situation right now, like I said, I'm caking, right? That has absolutely nothing to do with my husband being able to help me and guide me and teach me. And I submit to his help, because sometimes I don't know what the F is going on. Just because I'm a nurse and right now I happen to make a lot of money has absolutely nothing to do with him being able to guide me and help me along life's journey. So that's where I don't feel like this provision and this money and all that kind of talk means anything whatsoever.
Even now, like, my husband is having some serious health challenges, and so I'm able to work overtime and all that. So I'll go, hey, they offer me. He's like, no, I don't want you to go. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I want, you need to be here with me, or I need you to rest. I haven't seen you in a while, or blah, blah, blah. So I also respect that too, that it's not just about, me just going. I wish could be quarantined. I wish I could work from home. The pandemic never affected me. I had to be to work every day. I never stopped going to work. So I wish I had a job where it say, no, work from home and I don't have to get dressed. I can sit in my pajamas all day. But I also remember the bigger goal is, hey, he's on my health insurance right now and it's not cheap. So I need to do what I need to do to take care of me and my household. And when he's able to get back on his feet, because he's not going back in these streets 50%. When he goes back into these streets, he will be 100% on his feet because I need him to come home to me. So if I need him to be home for a while to protect himself, that's okay. I don't mind working. I don't mind doing what I need to do. But I also have so many other things to set up that soon enough, he may not have to go back to those streets. It's a choice if he wants to. That's my goal. That's my vision. That's why I go so hard and I work so hard, is because the money's out there, but I have someone that needs me right now and can't fully stand on his own. So that's okay. Because when I couldn't stand on my own, I was on his back and he took care of me. So that's the 50-50.
Church, can you just lift your hand? Listen, absolutely what you just said. And I'll say this, and I'm gonna get out because at first I wanted to argue with y'all, but I don't want to argue. Y'all just don't bless my heart.
Come on.
I want to say this, and in all seriousness, the reason the manosphere exists is because we don't hear enough women like you. I think what you're saying, me and hearing this is what changes it. Now, as men, we're gonna talk, but to hear some beautiful women, some women who are intelligent, kind of switch what we've been marketed that our women only see us as paychecks, and hearing you say that you see us as a person and that you value us as a person and that is an added bonus. Of course it's needed, but it's deeper than that. This is what we need. So I want to say thank you to every single lady on here. Y'all have given me life. I truly respect y'all and I wish you nothing but the best.
We love our Black man. Thank you.
I'm out of here. Y'all appreciate y'all. Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good night.
Hey, listen, before I go, I got to listen here. Good God Almighty. I came in hot, but I done cooled off like a damn soda. Listen to me. Oh my God. Listen, man. Ooh. You know what I can appreciate though? I can appreciate the fact that these beautiful Black women, you guys don't run from the conversation. Candy Ann ain't running from shit. Right? She ain't running from nothing. And so I love that about Miss M3. You are a representation truly of Mr. M3 because he ain't running either. And so and the blooming Ebony. I would like to say to you as well that you're a young, very beautiful young lady that has a lot going for her, and you're mentally strong already. There's so many women out here that are like you, that are your age right now, that are just, they think twerking is going to be the job to do for the next 50 years. But one day they're going to drop it like it's hot and it's going to stay on the floor. And so, and they ain't going to have nothing else to look forward to. So, but I thank God for you guys. I think, man, Miss M3. I mean, Candy Ann, but just lastly, Miss Queen, listen to me. You have spoken life into these veins tonight. I don't even think I have to go to church no more this month. I think I'm gonna take the rest of the month off. I've got a word for the rest of the month. I appreciate you for being just who you are. Knowing that, like Sir Hill said, just to piggyback off what he said, that men are not just a paycheck, but a man is a leader, regardless of his financial contributions, even when he's going through hard times and situations. So just a beautiful, it's just wonderful. And thank you guys for not running. Listen to me. It's one thing for me, I don't run. Canada and know me. You guys don't know me yet. You need to come over to my platform sometime. We don't run. We have the conversation. It can get rough. We can bump heads. We can go to, it gets nuts at times. Candy Ann has almost got out of her seat at times, but we have the conversation because it's important for Black people to sit down and have the conversation. I'm never going to run from a conversation, and I'm glad that you guys don't run from a conversation either. And I want to apologize to you guys for banging into your platform tonight on fire. I just feel as if we should hold Black men accountable. And when you have black men that are not trying to do the right thing, or they just saying stuff for clout, or something like that, it's time for us to hold them accountable. And again, like I said, I'll hold them accountable today and give them a hug before 12 tomorrow. But we need to hold these men accountable. If we're going to hold the women accountable, the men also need to be held accountable. So I love you guys. Hey, I love this platform. The first time I came, we had church for about 20 minutes. And M3 had me take them to church about 20 minutes. But I enjoy it. You guys are beautiful. You guys have a good night. I'm about to go ahead and get some sleep so I can. No, I'm not going to church tomorrow. Queen, you did it. I'm gonna call my pastor tonight and say, listen, don't even look for me.
Okay.
And Sheree, I want to say, shout out to Sheree. I forgot to mention Sheree. Sheree, wonderful. She has a great platform as well, guys. Wonderful, Sheree, for coming in and moderating, and she did her best when the Lions came through ravishing. So thank you for being the queen in the jungle. Good night, guys. I love you guys. Black women, stay strong. Stay braided up. And Miss M3, it was so good to meet you. I know. Oh my goodness. Listen, I admire. You guys are married, right? Yes. The other night on the platform, I remember now. The other night on the platform, he's like, yeah, man, M3, when he talks and he gets a little shy, he'll bow his head a little bit. He had his shades on. Well, I've been married for a while now, and I love her, and we live together, and so my wife, she just don't do things like that, But I mean, each his own, So I love M3 when he come through, man. So again, good night. I'm hungrier than a hostage, so I'm gonna get me something to eat. You guys have a good night. God bless you all. Peace.
Have a good night.
Okay,
I don't know if we're still going, but I think there's another question. Are you guys all hanging in there?
Yeah. I think it's the last question, number 9.
Okay. Is it women's responsibility to make men feel we are holding each other accountable? Why or why not? Mrs. M3, would you like to start us up?
I think it's not a matter of us making them feel like we're holding each other accountable. I think it's between the women. Like, if they witness it, that's one thing. But like I said earlier, like, I wouldn't be one to confront a woman in the middle of a situation. So that man may not know that I ever talked to their wife, But if she's my friend, I'm going to talk to her, but not necessarily in the middle of the conversation that they're having.
Queen, are you there?
Yes, I think it's not necessarily our responsibility to let men know, but I think it's good for men to know that we have their back in holding women accountable. So yeah, because they want to feel like you got them. So if there's a situation and they know that, hey, this is to trust that I got them, I got my man's back. I think it's good for him to know that. He needs to know that because he trusts that if there's anything foul, that I'm going to have his back 100%, because that's part of our relationship. Just like if it was vice versa, I want to trust that he's got my back 100%. So I don't think it's necessarily my responsibility to let them know, but if it's my man, he know I got him.
Mr. 100 Watts, would you like to answer number 9?
I don't know. Based on the way I'm reading the question, my understanding, I would hope that my lady is going to keep me accountable for the fact that she's the closest person to me. So she has the context to understand, like, when I'm actually out of pocket, because people who are outside of us might not understand me or how I talk or how I move or something like that. So because she's the closest, I would hope that she keeps me accountable, because she's basically my first line of defense, or last line. Not sure which way to look at that, but I think if anybody is gonna hold me accountable, I would like for it to be her, because it's just one of those things. I don't want to step out of the house and look crazy when it could have been fixed when I was in the home. So that's how I'm thinking about it. But I'm gonna say this: I enjoy this conversation. I listened to a lot of it. I'm going to get out of y'all's way because it's ladies' night. So I appreciate y'all letting me up here. It's always a great conversation. Two of you ladies I've just met tonight, Candid Ann, one of my new favorite people here on YouTube, and Queen, all the way New York. She is always all the way New York, and I love it. You guys, y'all have a great night, and I will continue listening.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Okay. Miss Candid Ann, would you like to answer?
So let me think. Is it women's responsibility to make men feel like we are holding each other accountable? I feel like the only person that I'm beholden to in terms of a man are the men in my lives, like such as my husband. I don't feel like it's my responsibility to make other men in the manosphere on YouTube and other places make them feel any kind of way. I think it would be admirable of me because, hey, listen, I do have a platform and I can speak up on some women's issues and things that I feel like women are out of pocket with. So I feel like, hey, that's admirable of me. But at the end of the day, I feel like the only person that I'm beholden to is my husband, my father, my brother, like my actual brother. And that's it, so we do the best we can. Not everyone can be as strong as Miss Queen, which I admire. No, and I'm dead serious. Because keep in mind that, a lot of us, I do this. I make this analogy a lot about an eggshell. Some of us are walking around here with the facade that we are hard on the outside when we are soft, bleeding, broken on the inside. And not all of us are strong, independent Black women. Some of us are meek. Some of us are scared. Some of us, we are not a monolith. We are so not all of us. When I say that, I'm not being silly or funny here. I really mean that some of us are not you. Some of us are scared. Some of us don't know how to respond. And so for me, to answer that question, the only person that I feel like I am beholden to is the one that I married, my father and my brother. And as a YouTube content creator, I do feel a sense of, let's talk about this. Let's talk a little bit about this. But if you don't get it, you don't get it. I'm not going to sit here and badger women and go over and over and over it, because I'll be allowing you to take precedence over my goal and my responsibilities here. So that's how I feel about that.
That's
I
just want to go ahead, Queen.
I do want to say, Miss Candidam, I am still scared. I'm still that girl from Southside Jamaica, Queens, but still, you know what I mean? Like you gotta put on that front, you know what I mean? But I think with the field that I'm in, I had to take on these young people like they were my sons, like they were my brothers, my little brothers. And when they didn't have anyone, I had to be that lion for them that they let out and go, I got you. What happened? No, that's not what's going to happen to you, because no one else was doing it. I had to get in their face and tell them, look, you can't do what the other races do. They will kill you. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to be nice to you. They're going to throw you on the floor, put handcuffs, and put their foot on your neck. Like, you can't act like this. So in this field, I had to learn confrontation a lot more than I normally would ever be comfortable with. So this is not like, I'm still getting used to it. I'm still learning when it's appropriate, when it's not, when to tame her, when to let her out, when to bite her tongue. So it's just a constant learning battle, even for me. So, but thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want
You're doing what you need to do, and you're doing a great job at what you're doing, even what you communicated.
I want to add to the conversation real quick. What's going on, ladies? Good to see y'all here. I think that in our relationships, you know what I mean, we got to be able to hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? If this is somebody in your circle, so this is your friend, if this is family, somebody in your circle, you know what I mean? Definitely tell me, brother, you are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. At the end of the day, there may be things that I'm doing that's detrimental for me that I might not know about. And I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of times we have to realize that, something that's not checked is going to affect, those around him because you're in that person's environment. Now, if I'm not in your environment and we don't really rock like that, then cool, you do what you want. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. But if you're in my circle, you're in my environment, hold me accountable. Tell me that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Let me know. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, by you telling me that, you know what I'm saying, I can definitely make improvements and then I can grow from there. And then when you're wrong, I can tell you the same thing. You know what I mean? So one of the best relationships that I have is with my brother. You know what I mean? We may not be related blood wise, but he has no problem telling me when he said, his saying is that, man, you wrong and strong. He's like, you wrong, but you being strong about your wrongness. Like, you just want to stand on your square. You know what I mean? But, he still checks me and lets me know, like, look, man, that's not cool. What you're doing is not effective. It's not helping. And you have to be better, and I'm going to hold you to that. So I think that, when we have those people in our lives, we have to do that with each other. You know what I mean? No matter if it's a man or a woman, because we care about these people. You know what I mean? And we actually value them. So yeah.
Remember that. I need that brother's phone number.
No, you don't.
Thank you. I guess for me, when I read this, it doesn't really sound right to me to try and make men feel as though I'm doing what I need to do to help out other women to be better. It kind of sounds like donating money to a charity and then telling somebody that you've donated the money to charity to make them feel like you're philanthropic. So no, I would say it's not your responsibility to make somebody feel as though you're doing what you need to do. You should do it and then just hope that they reap the benefits and then hope that they tell you that things are getting better eventually, but without having to insert yourself. I think there's an elegant way to handle something like that, and trying to say, oh, this is what I did, this is how I did it, may not be appropriate for all situations. So no, I don't think that it's your job to make men feel as though you are holding people accountable. And also, if they don't feel like the way that you did it is sufficient, that could also ruin things. It can mess up the process. Maybe you handle it in a way that you knew this person would be receptive, yet the man that you expressed this to, that you told about this, he doesn't understand why you approached it that way and may try to interfere with the process of that person holding themselves accountable and listening to you and going through that introspection. So my answer would be no. But yeah, I think that is all the questions. Is that right? Yes. Awesome. This was lovely. Huge shout out to Sheree B Chicago for hosting this, and huge shout out to everyone in the chat.
We love you, Sheree.
Yes.
And thank you, Kris, the Blooming Ebony. Thank you so much for taking the reins afterwards.
Of course. And I think this is the point where everyone gets to shout out their channel. So Mr. M3, I guess if you want to big screen someone, they will do their thing. Oh, he's gonna hop in. Oh, it's me. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Kris. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. And this was a lovely panel with lovely women. And I'm glad to have met all of you and be sitting here again with some of you. But yeah, I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony. You can follow me on Instagram, also at The Blooming Ebony. And with all that being said, I wish you all happy blooming, and I hope you learned something tonight.
Oh, okay. So, wow. Greetings, everyone. My name is Candid Ann. I've been on YouTube for approximately 10 plus years, and my channel has really developed from talking about natural hair, photography, and a slew of different conversations. And so right now I'm revamping my channel. So I'm interested in talking about candid conversations, about having the difficult discussions. And so that's what my channel will be about. So I'm revamping it right now. And so just, bear with me in that regard. But I'm interested in talking to you guys and with respect, having difficult conversations in order to grow, in order to penetrate our minds so we can move differently. And so I hope that I'm able to somehow figure out how I can lend to this platform and to YouTube. And so, yeah, That's where I come from, and that's what I hope. I'm revamping, but that's what I hope my channel will be about. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hello, hello. I'm Queen Feather 2K, and you can follow me on Instagram at Queen Feather 2K. You can see me on the Knowledge and Relationships platform. Sometimes I pop in to different sites, and yeah, just look forward to 22 and see what's in store for us. And Candid Ann, I have some interesting suggestions, so I will hit you backstage with some information.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate the perspective every woman brought tonight. Every star has its shine, and we were shining tonight. Just sharing with you from our perspectives. I hope that you got a lot from the conversation. And thank you so much for joining us on Knowledge and Relationships. We hope that you will be back. And please share the replay, comment, like. If you're new, please subscribe. We appreciate you. And Women's Night is, I think it's every other Saturday. And we also have the afternoon show. So please subscribe and hit the notification bell, because sometimes we just pop up and have our conversations, and they're always good. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Bravo, 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 ladies. Just want to say everyone have done like a wonderful job by holding it down. And I definitely like to appreciate each and every one of you ladies for doing so. Definitely a wonderful live stream. I would definitely say that. With that being said, I'm just going to do like a quick close and just let everybody know that, tonight's ladies' night stream was definitely wonderful. I just want to say shout outs to the abundance of people in the chat. A lot of returning folks have came into the chat, and it was good. You guys and ladies were showing like your support, and I just want to make it clear that I know we have fun like in the chat and we have our comments, but we also want to keep in mind too, as we preach about accountability, we also have to hold each other accountable within the panel, within the chat. So we always want to make sure that we're all respectful by the end of the day, and we're always showing love to each and every one of the people in the panel and within the chat itself. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you guys and ladies get your minds right, as always, and we are out. Later, everyone. DJ.